Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to The Lost. I'm Shad, he's Razor, and we're a couple of old school bad dudes, bad enough to rescue the president. Oh, and talk incessantly about Mortal Kombat lore, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Is
I
this...
think you've tuned in to hear us for.
You know what's weird is that this is the first Lost that'll have video footage.
That is weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not just a static background. Look at this, look. Things are moving. The game is making sound.
What is this?
This is...
sorcery.
This is MK Legacy Collection, that's what this is.
Oh my god, there's a guy on those spikes. Who did that to him?
I wonder.
That's mean.
Now, obviously, as this is a Lost, we won't actually be playing the game.
Oh, we're not savages.
No.
Who plays Mortal Kombat to fight each other?
I don't play video games no more. I never play video games.
We're talking about story like civilized people.
I mean, Cyborg and D4 had a live stream when it launched. There
wanted to be part of that.
There may be future videos. Yeah. I think they're waiting. The guys who actually play video games are waiting to see how the hotfixes and the patches pan out because there's some input lag and such.
It's not perfect. They're working on it. It's pretty egregious, especially on PS4/5 at the moment.
And I do want to say, like, I do want to give them kudos for the communication. Like, they've been super transparent about all this stuff and constantly updating us on Twitter. And the hotfixes have been, you know, multiple days in a row of them fixing little things here and there. Now, to wit,
the launch has been troubled.
Yeah.
You know, like, obviously everyone was expecting lobbies and invites and, you know, the kind of bare minimum of things that make a competitive fighting game playable between people. But Mortal Kombat is a two-pronged beast. There's fighting to it, and there's all the other stuff.
Yeah, and that's what we're here to talk about. Now, there are some errors that do affect the sections we'll be looking at today. But we will point them out as we get to them, and the thing is, I know Digital Clips has already acknowledged these errors on Twitter and said that they will be fixed in the next patch.
To my understanding.
Right. So
some of them at the very least. Some of them.
Yeah, now obviously
stuff we're gonna get into.
The people complaining about how the game plays on launch and the lack of online lobbies, I totally get that. That's not what I bought this game for. This section is what I bought this game for. I spent 7 hours just watching all these documentary videos and looking through the things.
A couple of days ago, after I had... I saved it for later, after I was done basically spending one day with each and every game, almost, the main arcade games.
Mm-hmm.
I sat down with a giant Lego Batman the Animated Series set, and just started doing Lego as I was watching / listening. And number one, it was a huge Lego set. I'm still nowhere near half done. And number two, I found it so hard to get any work done because I just kept on stopping and looking up and like rewinding and just seeing things over and over again. That put this huge smile on my face.
Yeah.
Ah, it's so good.
So, we're not gonna go through every single entry. We'd be here for days. But since we were talking about errors, the one thing I wanted to point out, first of all, it's super nice to have the comic books. All three of them, the MK1, MK2, and MK4 are located in this, and you can go page by page and actually read them. So there's no longer any excuse for anybody to not know what happens in these comic books, alright? Now that said, there is an error. The 2 pages that are currently on the screen, there is a page missing that is supposed to go between them about Liu Kang going to the Shaolin Temple and getting permission to attend the tournament. They are aware. They will put the page back in. It's just not there now. That is a shame.
Weird oversight, but okay.
Yeah, it is a weird oversight, because, like, look, there's a blank at the end. You can tell it's supposed to have an even number of pages, and it came out an odd number.
Oh well.
Yeah, that's the one little thing.
The important thing is that they know, they're on it, they're gonna fix it.
Yeah. So, what I would like to talk about in this video today is we're gonna go through these character by character and do a little fact-checking.
So, yeah, I want to just say something for the record to anyone who may be watching, including maybe some of the people who are responsible for this. The lore was compiled, researched, put together for these characters in this section by Dark Bishop, Scott
Howell from MortalKombatOnline.com.
Is it Howell?
It is Howell.
Okay, because there was two Scotts. I just wanted to make sure I have the right one.
It is Scott Howell, I believe, did the lore for this. Now, he
there's putting the lore together for this.
Yeah.
Is a monumental task, possibly a dream job for me or you. And, like, the things we're going to point out, this is in no way a criticism of Scott. I think he did
there's actually
a pretty damned amazing job.
There are some things I want to point out as huge positive stuff that I'm really glad he got right, because a lot of MK official media has gotten those things wrong. And I'm glad to have something set the record straight. So I will, give the kudos when they are deserved.
Yes. And there are many of them.
There are a couple of funky things, though. And I don't blame Scott for the funky things, because Scott had to have what he put in this vetted by fucking Dominic.
Well, he didn't say Dominic by name. He
said the NRS story lead team or whatever.
Yes, something to that effect.
We all know who that is.
But yes, he was under some oversight.
Yeah.
And he was instructed basically to stick to what's presented.
Now,
not to try to not fill in the blanks with imagination as little as possible, that kind of thing.
Now there are of course two ways to approach a fictional universe when you're writing about its history. One of them is that it's okay to retcon stuff if it's better that way, which is not where I fall. The other one where I fall, at least in this instance, is this is a historical document. This is a documentary product.
Mm-hmm.
So the history should be fucking 1-to-1 to what was actually written in the games.
I agree.
Now, there are some things here that have been... See, the weird thing about this is that all of these bios stop at Arcade MK4. So, for example, Goro, his bio doesn't cover MK4 because he was in the home versions, but the home versions are not in this collection, so that was not included. And that's okay, because if you ever do a second collection or a DLC or something, then you can continue Goro's story and say what happened after where you left off.
I'm hoping to one day, and I hope that they get that chance.
Yes, I would love to have a 3D era one for these. So just picking a stopping point that feels arbitrary is not wrong, okay? That's not something to complain about. I understand. Like Reiko, since only his arcade version ending is in here, when we read about Reiko, it'll just say he walked through a mysterious portal. It won't mention the part where he sits on a throne and puts on Shao Kahn's helmet, because that's from the PSX version.
Let me read the exact statement from Dan Amrich, bless his soul, about their process for this, word for word.
Yeah.
With 30 years of history, how far can we go was discussed at length within RS, and no further than what is shown in MK4 was determined as a hard line for this project.
Yeah.
So while MKDA and the home 3D era games clarify and in some cases alter the events seen in the original games, those games are not playable here, so only the information seen in the games you can play in MK Legacy Collection was deemed authoritative.
Now,
MK history is messy, and we found more than one moment of conflict or ambiguity in the narrative, but we respected the choice to stick with what the original games established.
Yeah.
There it is.
Now, that said, There are a couple instances where they take information from a 3D era game and they put it here. You see the word
As a matter of fact,
Tarkatans is
you're
on the
looking at it
screen
right now.
Yeah. The word Tarkatan was invented in Deception.
See, like, we haven't even selected the first character, and the lines are blurred. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I don't blame them for this one. I like the term. I've always been a fan of the term. It's just, right away we're like, but is that from the games you can play in this collection, though?
Yeah.
Like, where does that line start?
I mean, so here's the thing. They have the word Tarkatans in here. They acknowledge that Noob Saibot is Sub-Zero, which was not established until the 3D era. And Shao Kahn's
in Khan's bio.
Khan's bio mentions Onaga. So, like, but on the other hand, the Sub-Zero brothers, their bios never say the names Bi-Han or Kuai Liang because those weren't established until 9. So they kind of
so strange.
They kind of flip-flop on the what from future games is in here and what isn't thing. And there are a couple instances where Scott seems to have just made something up to fill in a blank. And I'll point those out when we find them. But let's get started.
We're guilty of that too when we analyze the games to some extent.
Sure, we totally do that all the time when we're talking about theoreticals or how to square the circle when things don't make sense on our Discord. But I wouldn't necessarily put all of my fan interpretations into a documentary.
Quite true.
So, Baraka is the leader of the Tarkatans, a nomadic race of mutants who live in the outer wastelands of Outworld. Sadistic and brutal, Baraka serves Shao Kahn as one of the Emperor's most terrifying and merciless enforcers. That's true. That's all correct. The word Tarkatans is from Deception, but it's all correct.
That's a beautiful bio.
Yeah, that's great. That's accurate. So far, so good. Alright. In Mortal Kombat 2, under Shang Tsung's direction, Baraka leads the attack on the Shaolin temples after the Mortal Kombat tournament, showing no mercy to any monk. Afterwards, he competes in the Outworld tournament, where the skills of his Earth opponents are no match for his savagery. Now, you're not technically wrong, but he clearly didn't win the tournament, so I don't know about no match for his savagery. I think they're just taking that word for word from his bio.
If someone was no match for his savagery, they're probably not surviving. I don't know about that last one.
Yeah. So these
it's the feeling that matters, you know? It's the feeling.
Structurally, these blocks of text at the top of these timelines are Scott's interpretation of what's canon. And then you click down and you can read the actual bio and the arcade ending.
Mm-hmm.
And, most characters, the arcade ending isn't going to be canon, but it will give you some backstory and context.
Some details that may or may not be brought forth in future games.
Yeah. But, okay, so the next time we see Baraka's in Trilogy, that's correct. After quelling a rebellion in the remote areas of Outworld, Baraka is sent to Earthrealm by Shao Kahn to kill as many Earth warriors as he can, independently of the extermination squads. He locates Earth's champions, but is swiftly defeated. Knowing his failure will be punished, he flees back into the wastelands of Outworld upon Shao Kahn's defeat. That seems right.
About.
I can't think of any other way it could have gone. Obviously, Trilogy just says, hey, he was missing from Vanilla and Ultimate because he was busy fighting this rebellion. Once he got done, Shao Kahn assigned him to join the invasion. That's all we get in Trilogy. You can see that right here.
I mean, I figured he was kind of part of the extermination squads, or maybe going along with them, or something. But that's splitting hairs. That's neither here nor there.
We don't...
Could have been alone, could have been with them. Doesn't matter.
We don't know, and we don't necessarily need to know, like, who he was running with, if he had a squad or if he was by himself. That doesn't matter, because the point is, he never successfully killed any named character. He got his ass kicked and went back to Outworld. The end.
Now, at this point in time, because this is the last point where we find Baraka, I'm just gonna delve into the little matter of a game that is not cover collection.
Yes.
Where the next time we see the guy, He's
Yeah.
got staples on his head and his chest.
Yeah, so if MK Gold were in this collection, I do wonder how Scott would explain the staples. Because our understanding, which I think comes from a tweet from Tobias himself, is that they never got to say it in the text, but it's supposed to imply that canonically, during Trilogy, Baraka didn't just get his ass kicked and hobble back to Outworld. He got cut in half by Kung Lao, and Quan Chi saved him. And then recruited him for MK4.
And never said out loud.
Never said out loud.
Stated.
Never said out loud.
Something that John likes to say in his Twitter every now and then, when you go back and you read his statements about the old games, is that they did like to leave a lot of details up to the player's imagination.
Yeah, they like to imply things to get your mind running, you know? Get the gears turned and make you wonder. They like, mystery is part of the Mortal Kombat franchise's appeal. And also, he always says, we didn't have a lot of room for text, so I did as much storytelling visually as I could get away with. He also says all that stuff.
Just saying,
I also want to point out...
one guy who killed another guy's entire brotherhood.
Yeah.
That guy has a fatality where he splits the guy in two.
Indeed.
The murderer comes back after a little while with evidence of having been split in two. It's...
Yes.
2 and 2 together, Come up with...
the other thing, though, is that his scars and staples are completely gone in Deception. So a person could interpret it as a retcon that the staples were, being removed from the story. I don't see it through that lens. I think he just healed real good. I think, there are implications that Tarkatans work so much similarly to Wolverine that they should be getting sued for copyright infringement. They have super senses. Baraka constantly smells things as a superpower. They have, bones coming out of their wrists. They're covered in metal. He might have a healing factor too. It's unclear.
Hurt when you pop the blades, bub? Great time.
So if eventually this he doesn't, staples, you could go to the doctor and get staples for a wound, and eventually they will remove the staples when the wound is closed. That's a real life thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe Baraka doesn't have scars because his healing is that good. We don't know. Anyway, the other thing I wanted to say is...
We're way off base and the staples are a fashion statement. But continue.
Yeah. I like that each character has a different background. Like, Baraka is given the Wasteland because the Tarkans are from the Wasteland.
Yeah.
So that's nice. Some of these backgrounds feel a little more chosen at random because maybe they didn't know what would be most appropriate or nothing would be appropriate. But,
gotta put the subway somewhere.
Yeah, but for Baraka, Wasteland is the right choice.
Ding ding.
Okay, Chameleon is the next character, and you can't even click on him because he's never had a bio.
The only thing that's ever been said about the guy, apart from, the little bit at the end of Trilogy PlayStation where he's referred to as one of Shao Kahn's deadliest warriors.
Yes.
Is that John Tobias once said in a tweet, he's probably of the same race of raptors as Reptile and Chameleon are. That's it. Probably. Nothing definitive. But there it is.
Yeah, I wish female Chameleon was in here, but since they don't have the N64 version of Trilogy, like, that's the weird thing, is that, like, they can only really put stuff in here for a game that's in the collection. So sometimes stuff that is canon gets omitted.
To a degree, I understand, and then by the same token, I kinda don't. I still would have shoved her in here. I
also,
maybe one day.
Digital Eclipse made this picture, this bio, this character select screen image by editing Reptile, didn't they?
They did. That's his UMK3 portrait.
Yeah, they just because
It's pretty.
Male Chameleon has never had a select screen portrait in
No,
the 3 series because he wasn't playable. Well, he was playable, but you'd hold buttons down on the, he didn't have a box on the select screen.
no, I never did. It was just the giant blue and red.
Also,
this question mark and
this Noob Saibot portrait, they made that too. That was not in a game. This is Scorpion's picture from MK2. They've edited the colors.
They're all quote-unquote original. Smokes is a reverse Sub-Zero. Jade is Melina up there.
Yeah, Smoke is down here, yeah.
I do want to, briefly give kudos to the fact that Chameleon portrait up there.
There she is.
Because, we've always known that the guy, flashes all the colors. But that's the first time that officially he's shown in a beautiful rainbow palette in one spot.
Yeah.
And, the only other time that that's happened is some very dubious artwork from an old issue of EGM that was covering Trilogy at the time.
Yeah,
that was where that whole thing originates from.
They took one of the ninja artworks from the Trilogy, all the concept art, the strategy guide art, and they just rainbowed it up.
I scanned that stuff and I passed it around, and now it's on the wiki all the way back in the day. And now it's canon. Now it's official.
Yeah. All right, let's look at Cyrax. Cyrax is in the subway for some reason.
He's in the subway.
I mean, it's an MK3 stage. He's from MK3. Oh, we can work with that.
I would have put him in the desert.
Hadn't thought of it. That's correct. He should be the desert.
It should be the desert. It's where he lives. It's his home.
Yeah. You too good for your home?
He gets it right away.
Okay, so... A longtime member of the Lin Kuei, Cyrax was one of the first of the clan chosen to undergo the conversion process into a cyber Lin Kuei. The cyborg's first mission is to track down and either capture or eliminate the rogue clan member Sub-Zero. That's all correct. And I will notice that they don't come down in either direction on whether Cyrax was willing or not to become a cyborg, because the original MK3 did also not say whether he volunteered or was kidnapped like Smoke. Nine has an opinion on that, and I kind of disagree with Nine's opinion, so...
It's Smoke's. They just gave him his story. That's all there is to it.
Smoke is the one who ran away. Cyrax, he was asked to do it, and he fucking did it. He's a good soldier.
I'm actually a little bit surprised that his bio doesn't actually call him the Unit LK.
Yeah, here's something I wonder.
44?
Yeah. Actually, I did notice that Smoke's Cyber Smoke's bio has the 7T2, but there's no 44. Well, you look at it's right here. So.
There we go. There it is.
Yeah. Now here's something I wonder. When they decide whether this box says MK3 or Ultimate MK3 or Trilogy, how do they decide that? Because Cyrax was a vanilla 3 character.
Do some of them just say 3 and others say Ultimate?
Some of them say 3, some of them say Ultimate, and some of them say Trilogy. And it seems a little random. I mean, obviously, the characters who are only in Trilogy, Baraka, Johnny Cage, and Raiden, they should say Trilogy in their thing.
Yes. I would imagine Cyrax being the vanilla roster would, be MK3.
Maybe, I don't remember if any of them say vanilla. They might only either say Ultimate or Trilogy.
Okay.
I'm not sure. We'll look at that.
I've only been through the whole thing once, so I'm not going to nitpick.
Alright. After Sub-Zero rejects conversion to a cyborg and defects from the Lin Kuei, Cyrax is set with his fellow cyborgs Sector and Smoke to apprehend the ninja. Cyrax manages to confront Sub-Zero but is defeated. Instead, Sub-Zero reprograms Cyrax to attack the Outworld forces. After Shao Kahn is defeated and Earth is destroyed, Cyrax wanders into the desert, still locked to his reprogrammed objective and unable to locate targets. That's basically correct. I would.
Except for the part where you said Earth is destroyed rather than restored.
Did I say destroyed?
You totally said Earth is destroyed.
After Shao Kahn is defeated and Earth is restored. Yeah. Okay. That's a slip
Thinking
of
of
the
an
tongue.
explosion fatality that he plagiarized in gold.
Freudian slip.
Dun, dun, dun.
So- There is one thing, just a word choice nitpick. I would, Cyrex wanders into the desert. He's not unable to locate targets. He has completed his objective and is trying to return to base for new orders. And, yeah, see?
There it is.
After eliminating Khan, well, he doesn't eliminate Khan and save the Earth, but he waits. Maybe that's why they changed the wording, because Cyrax isn't the one who killed Shao Kahn. But, he still ends up in that desert looking for home. And see, I
just still finished it the same way. I'd be like, with no further orders and all threats.
Yeah, I mean, the invasion is ended, so his objective is complete. That counts, right? And it's actually like, it matters that the reason he gets lost in the desert is that he was trying to return to base, because the Lin Kuei base is in China, and the desert, although this isn't established until Deadly Alliance, I believe, the desert is the Gobi Desert in China. That's where Jade's Desert is supposed to be. Anyway, obviously, no gold in this collection, so Cyrax's doings in MK4 have not been included.
I eagerly anticipate the if and when of the day that Scott has to contend with the MK4 Cyrax bio versus what MKDA says versus what his MK Gold ending says.
I mean, so here's the thing. Cyrax's bio says that the Lin Kuei finds him in the desert, sends him out on another mission. But he's malfunctioning, so Sector is, suspiciously watching him. Cyrax's ending then says that somehow he has linked up with the Special Forces. They have restored his mind and soul, and he has decided to join them. And then Sector has a non-canon ending where he comes in and bombs them.
Kills them all. And MK Deadly Alliance just truncates the Lin Kuei's involvement entirely and says that Jax and Sonya find him in the desert.
Yes. They just shortened it. They just said, so honestly, you could have it be the gold version and it doesn't affect anything.
Problem is, it's one of the instances where, it's probably the only instance I'd say where a character's entire bio is rendered meaningless and confusing, given what the same game and the next game afterwards show you. So, if and when they get to Cyrax in Gold, I would honestly advocate for an asterisk saying Cyrax's original Gold biography is incompatible with his story.
I mean, that's the thing. If you include... So we actually don't know if there's going to be DLC that puts gold in this collection or not. They said they are looking into it, but I don't want to take that as, don't get your hopes up, because they may not be able to make it work. The Dreamcast may be too hard to emulate. Digital Eclipse, before this collection, had never gone higher than a 16-bit console in their previous collections. They did Atari games and stuff. This is the first time
that the primary reason that Gold and even N64 trilogy, which was offered to Digital Eclipse for emulation purposes, had to turn it down because they just straight up didn't have the budget.
Yeah, they did not have the time and the resources to include N64 or Dreamcast emulation in this, because they were already... This game is the first time they've ever emulated the PSX.
And yes, you have to put the work hours in, and you have to build your own emulator yourself.
Yeah.
You cannot just take one off the internet.
And we know that
who doesn't know?
The emulator they did build is not perfect, because all these games have input lag right now.
But it's a process. It's a long development process.
Yeah. But yeah, if they do add gold, I wonder if they will even then add gold bios to this section. I hope they do. But if they do, then yes, you're going to be putting Cyrax's bio and ending down here, and then this block will say something completely different. It'll say Sonya Jax found him in the desert. You can't do that.
It has
that
to.
doesn't make sense.
There's no...
You're gonna have to write...
tell the player.
Yeah, you're gonna have to write that Sector found him in the desert, and that Sonya and Jax then somehow recruited him while they were fighting Shinnok.
You've just got to make it clear to the player that, like, what was originally supposed to be Sector and Cyrax's biographies don't really work.
Yeah.
It's unavoidable.
You know what else I'm noticing is that the names have a colored aura around them.
Isn't that pretty?
Yeah. Chameleon does not have a color, it's just gray.
I mean, it's for the best, you know?
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's, you know, Disco Inferno.
Yeah, it would have been funny to have a rainbow flashing aura.
We've all seen the gif of them all dancing and skating.
Yeah. Ermac.
Ermac.
They put him in the soul chamber, I guess that makes sense.
It works, it does. Although I gotta say, this particular, this versus screen image, this is not Digital Eclipse's fault or anything, but that line of pixels right next to his eye, man, it just...
Yeah,
you know, it's a part of the mask.
This is
the general outline of this one.
This cutout is jagged. I'm also, obviously that's a 3D recreation of the Soul Chamber back there. I'm kind of disappointed that there are no, screaming faces in the green shit.
True.
But, you know, you do what you can. Okay, so Ermac. This being, known as Ermac, is a construct. His body is of unknown origin, while his mind is a collective created from the souls of hundreds, if not thousands, of Outworld warriors. Created by Shao Kahn, Ermac serves the Emperor, while his collective decides amongst themselves what his own future will be. That last sentence feels like it's referencing the 3D era to me. Kinda thought they weren't talking about that in this game.
Yeah, and I wouldn't use the word decide, because they can't really...
Yeah, canonically, Ermac is under mind control to be loyal to Shao Kahn during these games.
Or at
he
least
doesn't
under
get
the
to
threat of
decide.
sorcery. He doesn't have free will.
Yeah.
He has choice. I'd have been like, his collective consciousness yearns for freedom or something like that. I don't know. If I had to make something up.
The other thing that's a little weird to me is the inclusion of the line, his body is of unknown origin.
I can safely say that I've never really thought one way or another.
I mean, we know that Shao Kahn made
you know?
him, so Shao Kahn created the body to put the souls into.
Maybe Shang Tsung from the flesh pits. I don't know. Something to put them in.
It feels like you're asking a question that nobody's ever bothered to fucking ask before. Nobody cares where his body came from. It seems self-explanatory that Kahn made it. I don't know. It's not important. It's a nitpick.
The answer to the question nobody asked.
Yeah. So, this one's weird. It says Ultimate MK3 in the text, and the picture says Trilogy.
That's a mistake, yo. That's a mistake.
That's fine. You know, the funny thing is that Ermac's bio and ending in Ultimate are bullshit-ass placeholders. Look at what this says. Having been in hiding since the first Mortal Kombat, neither the Earth nor the Outworld has recognized this elusive ninja. Ermac uses his victory in the tournament to prove his existence, as well as warning that he will return as an unstoppable force in the fourth Mortal Kombat. All of this is wrong.
John Tobias in a restaurant on a napkin.
He didn't even... He's not in MK4!
I love all of these bullshit being Ultimate and Trilogy endings for the secret characters. You know, I was hoping against hope, that Noob Saibot would have this unique wavenet ending none of us had ever seen, and it would be like such wonderful nonsense.
Nope.
It wasn't to be, but I was
He
hoping.
has smoke sending. It's a placeholder because
Yep.
the WaveNet game is a fucking beta.
Yep. So,
yeah, so
I mean,
neither
sure,
the Earth
it's a
nor
nonsensical. It's picturing Shao Kahn. Who is this?
Who's
Sung,
this
do
guy?
you know this thing? What is this thing?
Who the fuck
Raiden,
are
is he
you?
one of yours? I didn't make that.
So yeah, so the thing here is that Ultimate MK3 has placeholder endings, no bios, and placeholder endings for the three secret characters, Ermac, Melina, and Noob Saibot. They got their real endings in Trilogy.
Yep.
Except
Nonetheless.
Classic Sub-Zero did not. He still has the weird bullshit. Because he's a non-canon character, so they didn't bother.
A lot of the old strategy guides, they got some text, maybe from Midway, maybe from Jod, and you get like a brief sketch of Ermac and a brief snippet about Melina going, oh, we all thought she was dead, but now she's back.
Yeah.
She completed an Ultimate or Trilogy or whatever, and
Yeah, well...
but I appreciate them including the UMK3 endings, even though they're nonsense. They didn't have to. They did for the sake of completion.
Yes, it's
I
a documentary.
really
You
appreciate
have to have all the things.
Yes.
So, officially, Ermac arrives on Earth shortly after Shao Kahn begins his invasion, with instructions to locate and eliminate the surviving Earth warriors. However, Ermac fails, retreating to Outworld after Shao Kahn's defeat.
Sure.
Stock standard, what everybody who's a villain did during MK3, this is correct, yes.
He fought someone somewhere, didn't kill anyone, got it handed to him, went back to Outworld, tail between his legs until one day he met Kenshi.
Yes. That's it. Good job. Alright, Fujin. Fujin is in the MK2 tower. Why is Fujin in the MK2 tower?
It's windy out.
It's windy. That's the reason, yes. I also... This bugs me. Look at the floor of the tower. The tile lines are all straight up and down. That's not how, like, perspective works.
Oh, I can't unsee that now.
Yeah, this is weird.
It's like a classic Zelda perspective, is what it is.
Yeah. It's janky, distracting.
Okay, notwithstanding that,
Yes,
though,
so...
they would have put him in the wind/rain stage from MK4
Yeah, so
is what I would have done.
obviously they did not background model every stage from the 4 games. They should have
Unfortunate.
put him in the Wind World. Fujin. As the god of wind, Fujin protected Shinnok's amulet in its hiding place, the Temple of Elements. Once Shinnok begins his new campaign against the Elder Gods, however, Fujin finds himself fighting in the front lines of this new war. Correct so far.
No problem.
Yeah, so during mythologies, Fujin is one of the elemental guardians of the Temple of Elements. He finds himself confronted by a Lin Kuei warrior possessing the stolen icons of wind. Fujin battles Sub-Zero, intending to keep Shinnok's amulet safe, but is eventually defeated. Yeah. We're not going to talk
Checks
about him making a tornado that kills himself, because that didn't really happen, apparently.
Sometimes when it explodes into blood, that's just a shorthand way for the Mortal Kombat universe to say, and then he fell down unconscious.
Yeah, no, here's the weird thing, is that in mythologies, Fujin is the only god who dies when he's defeated, and it's not even canon that he did that. It's never been canon that he did that.
Let's just say that he shed his mortal form and returned to the heavens violently.
Can Raiden do that? I think Raiden did that in Deception, and there were lore implications.
Well, there were no horrible sorcerers around.
The thing is that Fujin did not, like, reincarnate without his memories, so he obviously did not die in mythologies.
No, he did not.
Yeah.
He was just beaten and he vamoosed.
Yeah, he just got out of Dodge. So, Mortal Kombat 4. After Shinnok's forces invade and subjugate Edenia, Netherrealm demons begin their attack on the heavens. Fujin heeds the call of the Elder Gods and joins the defense, but is eventually overwhelmed and plummets back to Earthrealm. Once he is rescued by Earthrealm's warriors and Raiden, Fujin helps explain the danger Shinnok poses. The Earth warriors travel to Edenia to face Shinnok, while Raiden and Fujin return to the heavens. After Shinnok is defeated and Raiden becomes an Elder God, Fujin becomes Earthrealm's new protector. Yes, that's all correct. Mostly referencing the events of the
comic.
Yes, the MK4 comic. And then we've got the violent ending. You know, one thing I wish, and again, this is a feature that they could have only had if they had the PSX version of 4, or if they had Gold, is that in those versions of the game, these bios are animated. In every version of the game they're animated, the character spins around.
They have that one little moment where they take
Yes.
out a weapon or do a gesture or something.
In the PSX and Gold versions, the characters do a little taunt while they spin.
Reiko's like, hey, I got a club.
Yeah, he like
Puts the club away.
splashes his club at you. Quan Chi's like, check out this skull.
Yeah. That's good stuff.
Yeah. Yes. So
Fujin's-
this is all correct. There's not much you could possibly get wrong here.
Did we cover the ending?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
He was appointed
it's
the
similar to
guardian.
this MK4 ending. It's,
Yes, he is the guardian of Earthrealm now.
And that all happens. Hey, it's our boy. Remember
Yes.
our boy?
Goro.
Crown Prince of the Shokan. Goro was Shang Tsung's chosen champion in the Mortal Kombat tournament.
Yeah. So he's in the warrior shrine instead of his lair? That's an interesting
God damn it.
choice.
Ugh.
We know they have Goro's lair. It's in the animated menus. Okay, so
Oh, my head hurts from all the nitpicking. I wasn't even paying attention to this shit till you started bringing it up.
no, I just look. This doesn't bother me at all. I just think it's funny to do the thing.
It is. It is.
This is fun for me. That's all it is.
You make me wish for perfection when such things are not possible.
Look, I don't, obviously no shade on the collection, because perfection is the enemy of good, as they say. And this is, the Goonies are good enough.
I wish we could just spend an hour and a half sucking this game's genitals, because it really is that good. I don't want to be sitting here being Mr. Nitpicky. I really love this collection.
We could sit quietly and watch all the documentary stuff, but I don't think that would be an entertaining video for the audience. I think they're here for our commentary.
We have to comment on the on that one little bit from the MK3 behind the scenes doc within the doc, where the kid's like, "Psst, I found this in Ed Boon's trash."
Yeah, and then he reads out a combat
It's the
code.
code for smoke, and he fucking eats the paper. Murdoink, if you're listening, please take that moment where he's like, I found this in Ed Boon's trash, and make it exploitable. Do it. Alright. The Crown Prince of the Shokan, for nearly 500 half-human dragon, dominated the tournament. That all changed with the 10th tournament, wherein he found himself defeated by the Shaolin monk, Liu Kang.
Yes, that's true.
Yes?
Goro greets the tournament participants when they arrive at Shang Tsung's island. During the tournament proper, he faces no difficulty with any opponents until he faces off against Liu Kang. He finds that Liu Kang matches the Great Kung Lao's skill, and unlike the previous champion, is prepared to fight the Shokan. After a hard-fought battle, Goro is defeated by Liu Kang. In the aftermath of the island's collapse, his whereabouts are unknown. That's all true.
Sure.
It's
Very...
the
very
MK1
heavily accurate,
comic
and I
in
really-
there.
I really love the use of the words hard-fought battle, because I always imagine, that was a bloody, ugly, back-and-forth affair that, took them both to their limits.
I mean,
well done with that, I say.
It wouldn't be a boss fight if it was easy, would it?
Yeah.
I would have personally added just a little text about the people of Outworld think he's dead. Because that plays into, like, in the MK2 comic, you see King Gorbak accusing Shang of being responsible for his son's death and wanting to see him executed, and all that.
Yeah, maybe just at the very end, and he is largely presumed dead.
I like that you can click through this and see all the screens.
Yeah, great little touch.
Banana.
Da 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 da. Well, actually, go back. Actually, no, I meant back to the character select, because I presume that we're done here.
Yeah, okay.
I'm surprised that they didn't use the trilogy picture.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? They made a picture for Jade, and they could have just used the one from UMK3.
Strange, isn't it?
Yeah. Anyway. Originally,
I guess they really wanted to, like, capture the first time that they showed up.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I will. So Jade is in the living forest, which is appropriate. She does peek out from behind the trees. The desert that has her name in it was also an option, but again, that's a nitpick.
I was gonna say, it's her desert, but I like her here too.
Yeah, this is fine. Originally an Edenian, Jade served Shao Kahn as an assassin alongside Kitana and Mileena. During Outworld's invasion of Earth, Jade finds that her loyalty to her closest friend Kitana is more important than her service to the Emperor. Yeah, that's right.
Absolutely.
So, while not taking part in the Outworld tournament itself, Jade watches from the shadows, seeking to protect her Emperor and Kitana from any who would do them harm. She witnesses Kitana murder Mileena and escape the Colosseum, but does not interfere. That last sentence is
interesting.
Invented. It's not wrong. It's just that nowhere says that.
Now, I have always assumed that Jade would be a witness to Kitana murdering Mileena.
Yeah.
And would also, in fact, be the one to have reported that to Shao Kahn out of duty.
Now, here's
so
the
her
thing.
later conflict has a lot of backup on both sides.
Yes. Yes. The thing is, UMK3 says that there was the High Courts of Outworld accused Kitana of treason. So there was some kind of de facto trial. There is a legal system at work. As, kangaroo court as it may be, because it's probably just Shao Kahn making proclamations. But if you have a high court and you have a trial, then you probably have a witness. And it does make sense for Jade to have been the witness. After the Outworld invasion, yeah. After the Outworld invasion begins, Shao Kahn orders Jade to locate and capture Kitana from her hiding place on Earth. Kitana appeals to their friendship and reveals the truth of what happened to their homeworld of Edenia. After thwarting Reptile's attempted assassination of Kitana, Jade agrees to help. While Kitana confronts Sindel, Jade distracts Sindel's bodyguard Shiva. After Edenia's separation from Outworld, Jade agrees to serve under Queen Sindel. So, this is all correct, except...
It's a bit here to unpack.
The part about Jade fighting Shiva isn't necessarily wrong, but again...
There's a logic there.
No, nothing has ever said that happened. Scott is just filling in a blank here.
This is one instance where I don't mind that at all. Because, logically, Kitana and her friend Jade, with whom she's allied, are off to see the Queen.
Yeah.
The Queen has a bodyguard. You're gonna have to get through the bodyguard to get to the Queen. So I don't mind this at all. I think it's a nice little addition.
This is perfectly workable. It's just that there is a sequence of events in MK3 involving Shiva and Motaro that this collection completely omits because it was revealed in Deadly Alliance, but it happened during MK3. And that sequence of events could happen after Kitana fights Sindel, So Shiva could still have done the bodyguard thing?
I think there's plenty of room for everyone to have a couple of fights.
Yeah, but it is a gray area. Like, we really don't know how close Kitana confronting Sindel is to when Liu beat Shao Kahn. Like, how much time there is between those two events for other things to happen. Other things involving Shiva and Motaro and Kano that we'll get into.
I'm gonna be generous and say course of a day. Course of a day. A lot can happen in 24 hours.
Sure. Jarek.
The man. The myth. The trailer park. Once one of Kano's henchmen in the criminal Black Dragon clan, Jarek finds himself its lone surviving member in the aftermath of Outworld's invasion of Earth. Pursued by Sonya, Jarek finds a brief reprieve by agreeing to help defeat the fallen elder god Shinnok.
That is correct.
You
know what's not correct?
I love the renewed use of the phrase "finds himself."
Yes.
That's in the spirit of so many MK bios. Well done.
Mm-hmm. You know, what's weird to me...
Mm-hmm.
Why is he on the rooftop?
Why not? Like, I mean...
Why does Todd's Fortress have the bunny ears from 11? Do you see that back there?
Yes, I do, and it bothers me. I'm trying to ignore it.
Yeah, why did they do that?
You fought Jarek on a rooftop in Special Forces, didn't you?
Yeah, it was a helipad. Yeah. In fact, they reference that here.
It's a rooftop, it's fine.
Jarek is one of the Black Dragon thugs that Kano frees from the Special Forces prison. As Jax pursues Kano, the trail leads to an office building where Jarek is handling security. Two battle on the building's helipad where Jax overpowers and defeats Jarek.
Defeats?
Yeah.
Now, if I remember right, everyone that Jax defeats also happens to blow the fuck up. And
So here's the thing. Special Forces is not a canon game. They should not have included it in this section.
I was about to get to that. Because I was doing some digging. Because I wanted to know when exactly it was that it was said that Shaolin Monks was an alternate history and a what-if way of looking at MK2. And yeah, I came upon like a bunch of posts from MK Online back in the day that make this apocryphal reference to Ed himself saying Special Forces was a non-canon game.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing about Special Forces, and we've played it on the channel, people can see how that shit goes. Everybody Jax fights dies, just like in Shaolin Monks. And, the plot doesn't make sense. Like, there kind of isn't a plot, because the game was basically released unfinished. It does not fit as a prequel to MK1. Like, there's no reason to include it.
Also doesn't really make a whole lot of sense for Jarek to have actually gone to parts of Outworld and come back and then be surprised that there's a whole other realm out there in MK2. That's how the story goes.
Jax knowing that Outworld exists before MK2 is one of the big reasons why Special Forces can't be canon. Anyway, Mortal Kombat 4. As the last member of the Black Dragon, Jarek becomes the target of Sonya's manhunt. Sonya manages to capture Jarek, but is immediately called away by Jax to investigate a fallen meteor. That's Fujin. Upon learning of Shinnok's threat, Jarek offers to help defeat the fallen god, knowing Shinnok poses a danger to him too. After Shinnok's defeat, Jarek attempts to escape. He and Sonya fight on a cliffside where she throws him over the edge. So...
Okay.
So here's the weird thing, and I understand Scott was, between a rock and a hard place trying to interpret this shit. If you look at the MK4 endings, Sonya does throw him off a cliff. In the other... Sonya's ending is one of three that connects. Hers ending, Jarek's ending, and Jax's ending are a three-part story. The problem is that if all three parts are canon, then Sonya would be dead, and we know she's not dead, so all three parts can't be canon.
Unless she caught the cliff on the way down.
But they never said that.
Sometimes you do have to just make stuff up. It's either you make stuff up, if it's either you take it at face value, say she went over the cliff first, then Jarek went over the cliff, but neither of them died. He got it worse though. Or you just have to say some version of this ending, of these endings happened, where only Jax throws Jarek off the cliff.
Right, but if
it doesn't work otherwise, you've got to.
If you've got a collection, here's the full context. Mortal Kombat Armageddon is the next time we would see Jarek after 4. And in it, it said that Jax threw Jarek off the cliff, but Jarek survived by, like, catching his knife into the side of the cliff. And, you know, he's mad because it was brutality, and now he wants to do a fatality. You know, that's the reason it was written to be Jax who threw him off, so that they could do that stupid joke.
So that they could reference the silly MK4 dialogue, which I don't blame them for.
Yes. The problem
is, it is definitively Jax that...
Yeah. Canonically, Jax threw Jarek off the cliff without Sonya dying, which is... First of all, it's revealed in Armageddon, which is not in this collection. And like they said, they tried to only include content from the games that are in this collection. And what is in this collection is the MK4 endings, where Sonya has to be the one who throws him off the cliff, or she dies. Technically, she doesn't throw him off the cliff. He runs his own ass off the cliff, and she dodges.
I'm just saying, I'd have had her catch a branch.
Alright. Well, if they had written that, and if there was a way to explain it without confusing people, because that's not what happens in the videos.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Sometimes
I just want to point out,
you gotta make stuff up.
It makes sense that he wrote Sonya threw him off the cliff, but canonically that's incorrect. Jax threw him off the cliff. Alright, so next is Jax. Let's try to get through these faster, because it's been almost an hour and we're still on the top row.
Did you expect anything different?
Not really. So Jax is in the tower. I feel like they could have maybe done a 3-stage. You know, he's an Earthrealm character.
It's a weird choice for sure,
Yeah. But anyway, Major Jackson Briggs first became aware of other worlds when he pursued the Black Dragon criminal Kano into Outworld with Special Forces, not canon. Later, while attempting to rescue his subordinate Sonya Blade, he participated in the Outworld tournament and learned of the true threat the Emperor posed. Best known for his cybernetically augmented arms, Jax is a dedicated defender of Earth. You know, I guess you could make the argument that when Jax stepped through the Stargate to fight Tremor and Kano, he didn't know where he was going or what it meant. You know, Kano's after, like, a magic stone that opens portals, and all Jax knows is that he's recapturing criminals.
He knows there's other worlds out there, just doesn't realize he's been to this one before.
You know, if the version Tobias wanted to make of Special Forces had been finished, it would have established a lot of backstory, you know, how Sonya lost her partner, and that's why she hates Kano, how Kano lost his eye, and it would have, you know, the Stargate would have been relevant to the plot, because that technology would have been how Jax ends up inventing portals for the OIA.
Mm-hmm.
They would have actually, like, dismantled and seized that Stargate. In the game we got, it's just a weird background. It looks like a movie. Also, like, they don't explain, like, we played the game, we talked about this, but you're in, like, a tomb in China, and there's a Stargate. Who built that? Why is it there? And it's like it's literally the one from the Kurt Russell and James Spader movie. It is technology. It's an alien ring that opens portals. Why is it
an ancient alien ring? This is the seed that gets him to want to explore other worlds. It's always been on his mind.
Yeah.
Ever since that fateful day.
Who fucking built that? And why does it look like tech and not magic? Anyway.
Yeah, about getting through these fast?
Right. Jax is informed by his mission control Gemini that a breakout has occurred at a Special Forces run prison. Learning that the escapees are Black Dragon and were freed by Kano, Jax pursues and defeats each of Kano's lieutenants only to learn that Kano has found a hidden ancient city. Passing through a portal to another world, Jax tracks and defeats Kano. Believing Kano dead, Jax returns to Earth. So explain how that works. Believing Kano dead. He beat him, and then he just left him lying on a floor in Outworld. And he returned to Earthrealm and closed the portal behind him with the magic gem. So Kano was in Outworld, and then somehow he found his way back to Earth in order to be part of MK1? No, man.
There's reasons Special Forces doesn't work.
No, man.
So many reasons.
Anyway.
Oh.
So, tracking a signal from Sonya Blade, who had gone missing, Jax instead finds Johnny Cage floating in the middle of the ocean. After interrogating Cage and hearing a story about the Mortal Kombat tournament, he keeps the actor under surveillance. As a result, he's present when Shang Tsung attacks Cage's film shoot. It was a commercial, not a movie. Once Shang Tsung delivers the challenge of the Outworld tournament, Jax agrees to join the other Earth Warriors in the hope of locating Sonya. He competes in the tournament, and after Liu Kang defeats Shao Kahn, he manages to free Sonya from her captivity. So this is all more or less correct. It's what's in the MK2 comic and the game. But it was a commercial.
Not a movie.
It was for Cage Cologne.
On the whole, reasonable.
Yes.
Nothing bad. Nothing bad.
Okay, Ultimate MK3. Not vanilla, Ultimate.
Not vanilla.
Frustrated by the US government's dismissive response to his warnings about the Outworld threat, Jax prepares by equipping cybernetic arm augments. After Shao Kahn strips the planet of life, Jax and Sonya rendezvous with the other chosen Earth Warriors and make a plan of attack. He fights the extermination squads while Sonya finally defeats Kano. After Earth is restored, the US government forms the Outer World Investigation Agency, choosing Jax and Sonya to run it. Yeah, so that's all on point. Nothing wrong there. Good job.
Jax versus exterminate squads.
Yes.
Works for me.
Yeah. Okay, Mortal Kombat 4. Jax gets word that a strange meteor is falling to Earth from another realm and sends Sonya to investigate. She reports back that Edenia has been invaded and is being used by a fallen elder god, as a staging area for an invasion. Jax prepares to provide backup as Sonya travels to Edenia with the other Earthrealm warriors. Once he arrives, he learns that Shinnok has been defeated and Jarek was killed in battle with Sonya.
It was all going so well, too.
Yeah, so here's the weird thing about this one. Is that this block of text suggests Jax didn't do anything during MK4. This is an NPC's bio. He arrived late and found that the fighting was already over by the time he got there. That's what it says. Which, by the way, is not wrong. If you read Jax's bio and, watch the endings, there's all this stuff in this about how, like, Sonya went ahead without him to fight in Edenia, and he's trying to catch back up to her. Like, he's trying to find her. See, when Sonya disappears while tracking the last living member of the Black Dragon, Major Jax Briggs heads after her. The weird thing about that is that that's not what happens in the MK4 comic. In the MK4 comic, Sonya, Jax, and Johnny Cage are all hanging out together and go into Outworld together. Which is a continuity error on the comics part, because Johnny is supposed to be dead. You know, he gets resurrected
Yes,
by
it is.
Raiden and then joins the fighting. But, so yeah, this block of text combines the parts of the comic that aren't wrong with Jax's bio to get somewhere that makes sense, but paints Jax as having not done anything and having missed the game. He's a playable character in the game, and he doesn't do anything in the game.
He's like Chameleon.
You know, there is one other character in the Mortal Kombat franchise who doesn't do anything in the game that they're in, and that's Darius in Deception. Darius is a playable NPC. His bio and ending are all about giving orders to other characters, namely Dairu.
I would have.
But at least Darius fights Shujinko in Conquest mode.
I would have at least written it so that, you know, the usual bit of filler, like Jax goes up against the forces of Shinnok's
Yeah,
army
like
or
Jax
some
Jax
crap, and-
was late and trying to catch up to Sonya, but that doesn't mean the fighting was over by the time he finally got there.
one of the better ones.
They just tried to square the circle of, hey, in the ending, when Jarek is running off the cliff and Jax shows up late, why did Jax show up late?
If they do get around to correcting it so that they specify the one who drops Jarek off the cliff, I hope that they tidy this up a little bit too, you know?
I don't know that
last
they're
sentence.
going to bother. I think they're going to leave it say that Sonya threw Jarek off the cliff. Just because, again, that's the only content that they have to show you when you click down, or when you play the games, is what's in 4, where Jax couldn't have thrown Jarek off the cliff unless Sonya was thrown off first.
You can live though, man.
I just...
Down, it's right there. You could just selectively not mention that bit and let players debate amongst themselves.
Right, but that's fucking confusing.
Sometimes people need to be confused.
Alright. Okay.
Edward Gigma would agree.
They appear to have put Johnny in the Palace Gates. That's fine. He was in MK1.
Born John Carlton, the actor known as Johnny Cage became a worldwide with his martial arts skills and movie star looks. Fearing his star power was waning, he hoped to find inspiration with a win from a prestigious, little-known tournament. No one, especially Cage himself, would realize he would go from Hollywood actor to heroic defender of his world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's correct.
Checks out.
Yeah.
Yeah. He hoped to find inspiration, fearing his star power was waning.
That's...
That little bit there.
Well, you know, so the 95 movie is kind of what clarified that the problem Johnny was having with his career is that he was being accused of, you know, faking his stunts in the press. And so he wanted to do a tournament, like a real competition, to prove that he was still a real fighter. That was sort of alluded to in the games, but not outright said. All the games say, and we can see right here, is that, you know, this block of text actually doesn't say why he goes to the tournament, it just says who he is.
No, if you look over the whole thing, there's no actual reason for him to be attending the tournament.
Yeah.
It's just, he just does it.
But...
So yeah, I don't object to adding a little bit of flavor here and there.
Yeah.
People thinking he's a fake or whatnot.
I mean, it is, you know, the only thing that makes sense why he would come to a tournament like this is to help his career. So you have to establish that his career needs a little help. The other thing it says is that he's looking for inspiration. He wasn't thinking about it at the time that he came to the tournament. But obviously, both his MK1 ending and his MK2 ending established that after doing these tournaments, he makes movies about them. in which he wins instead of Liu Kang winning.
He's got director's block, and the tournaments help him out of it. Of course he directs himself.
Yeah. Okay, so Johnny Cage arrived on Shang Tsung's boat, quickly proving his skill even before the tournament started by knocking down Kano with a shadow kick. With the arrival of Goro and Raiden, Cage quickly realizes that the tournament is far more than it seems. Allying with Liu Kang and Sonya Blade, he takes the tournament seriously while mentally taking notes for use in his movies. After Liu Kang defeats Shang Tsung, he fails to escape the collapsing island and finds himself stranded in the middle of the ocean. Yeah, that's the stuff from the comics is in there. That's what happened.
A little bit of flavor. He's liking what he's seeing. He's taking notes as he goes. That all checks out. I like it.
Johnny is rescued from the middle of the ocean by Jack, Sonya's commanding officer. Upon his release, he returns to Hollywood to continue his career, only to have a filming session interrupted by an attack by Shang Tsung and his accomplices. Witnessing Shang Tsung's... Yes, Cage Cologne. Witnessing Shang Tsung's challenge to Liu Kang, he agrees to fight in the Outworld Tournament. After Liu Kang defeats Shao Kahn, he returns home with more ideas for future films. That's true.
Yep.
Mortal Kombat Trilogy. Johnny is one of the souls spared when Shao Kahn claims every soul on Earth, but is slain by an Outworld extermination squad. Unable to move on due to Shao Kahn's magic, Johnny's soul temporarily returns to his body so that he can aid his friends in saving Earthrealm. Upon Liu Kang's victory over Shao Kahn, Johnny's soul moves on to the Beyond. Yes, that's what happens in MK3 and Trilogy, yeah. Guys,
100%. Checks out. I'm Johnny Cage.
Yeah.
They do include in the documentary the little unused MK3 vanilla excerpt screenshot of the silhouette playing Cage.
The picture of Motaro lifting him up, but it's an MK2 sprite with the face blacked out because Dan Pesina is fucking blacklisted.
Persona non grata.
Deservedly so, but let's not get into it.
Quite.
Mortal Kombat 4. Johnny Cage's soul rested in the heavens until he saw the Netherrealm's invasion of Edenia and Shinnok's subsequent attack against the Elder Gods. Unwilling to stand by and watch, he asks Raiden to restore him to life so he can fight back. He reunites with his friends to confront Shinnok, aiding Liu Kang in the final assault against the fallen Elder God. He decides to stay in the land of the living afterwards, where he continues to train and make more movies. And he wins an award, gives a bad speech, and they throw tomatoes at him.
Love it. I also applaud this little bio here for electing to not mention the part of the comic where he's just sort of already alive and standing there.
Yeah. See, again, you have to square that circle that the comic gets Johnny wrong. So in every other in every other instance in these bios, they mention what happens in the MK4 comic, but in Johnny's, the bio takes precedence. That's what's in the actual game. Okay, this is primary canon.
Well done.
Yeah. So they did a good job with that. A ball.
Goody.
Oh yeah. I'm looking forward to this guy's dedicated Lost retrospective, because here's some bullshit.
It's so good.
Perfectly in line with all the rest of the bullshit Cabal fans have to deal with every day of their fucking lives.
If it's all bullshit, can we be upset at any of it?
I'm not bitter. Do I sound bitter?
Just let the madness take you.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so little is known about the warrior known as Cabal before Shao Kahn's invasion of Earth. Wearing a mask and respirator due to injuries caused by an extermination squad, Cabal is later discovered to be a former member of the Black Dragon. As one of Raiden's chosen warriors, Cabal fights against Shao Kahn, if only temporarily. So that little bit they stuck on at the end there is a reference to the fact that although Cabal's arc in 3, the Cabal was created to be a character who was a bad guy in his backstory, but because karma has punished him for his sins, he is now on a redemption arc and becomes a good guy. That was what Cabal was supposed to be. And if you only play MK3 and ignore every other Cabal appearance, that's what he is.
But
these last 3 words a reference to the
There
fact
is...
that every future game won't let Cabal be a good guy. He's not allowed.
Except for 9.
Yeah, 9, kind of.
As with Reiko, there is what was going to be, and then there is what we got instead.
The problem with 9 is that it eliminates the bad guy redemption arc. He's only a good guy in 9. We can only ever get one extreme or the other. We never get the correct Cabal.
He was already redeemed because he used to roll with Kano, but now he's a cop.
Yeah.
That checks out.
Yeah, okay. Okay, the whole point, the Extermination Squad fucking up his body is supposed to be karma for his crimes. If he's already become a good guy, then scarring the shit out of him is unfair.
Bad things happen to good people all the time. But I was reading through some of Tobias's tweets, and John mentioned that how Cabal gets injured and what he does to save himself is one of those instances I mentioned earlier about how he would intentionally leave some details out to let the player wonder.
Yeah.
Incidentally.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm gonna be, unanimous and nice here. I like the moral ambiguity going on. I like the mental image of Cabal as custard with a heart of gold.
Well,
you know?
Here's the thing, is that if you say, if only temporarily, yes, in Deception he does go back to a life of crime. But we're not there yet. Deception's not in this collection. Can't we acknowledge that he, fucking became a vigilante? He tried to fight crime for a while after FK3. Gave their inner circles a new reason to fear. And by the way,
I believe one of his Deception bios actually also says that he does fight against crime for a little bit, and then
yes,
decides,
they acknowledge that he's no longer with the Black Dragons when Movado comes after him. Movado's just the type to, not leave a guy off the list. If you were ever at any point in time affiliated with the Black Dragons, Movado's coming for you, whether that's fair or not. So
karma, and then more karma.
And also, like, when Cabal reforms the Black Dragon Gang, it was Havoc's idea. Like, Movado and Havoc forced Cabal to return to crime. Okay? It's not as necessarily his true nature. But I also... Why are we using the ultimate screens for this? The Vanilla 3
that is
had
very
cool
bizarre,
pictures.
Isn't it?
Vanilla 3 had cool pictures, man. Anyway. After the Earth is scoured of human life by Shao Kahn, Cabal is grievously injured by an extermination squad. He provides Kano's location to Jax and Sonya, then assists Stryker in protecting Nightwolf, while the shaman disperses the tornado of souls.
Hello!
Yeah, that's new.
That's familiar, in ways.
Yeah, that's from 9!
Nightwolf dispelling a Soulnado sounds a little bit familiar.
Yeah, once
in that it was a thing that 9 did for us,
yes.
that showed us. But up until now, we've had no real reason to believe ever actually happened at all in the original MK3 invasion arc.
Yeah, so once Shao Kahn is defeated and the realms separate, Cabal disappears back in the shadows. The Soulnado. The imagery of a Soulnado does not appear anywhere in Mortal Kombat 3, except a tiny one in the mouth of the Soul Chamber. So, is what actually happened that Nightwolf destroyed the Soul Chamber? Because somebody must have. Somebody had to free the souls that were stolen from Earthrealm. That had to be part of defeating Shao Kahn. The game never says it, though. So this is Scott Howe making some shit up that seems to be pulled from 9.
This is one of the bits of making stuff up that I really am not a fan of. Like, it seems to have been put here to develop a parody with 9.
Yeah, they wanted to retroactively suggest that 9 is more accurate than it actually was, because we all have huge complaints that the longer 9 goes on, the less it resembles 1 through 3. The MK3 part of 9 has almost nothing from 3 in it. And now they're trying to say, actually, this thing that happened in 9 did happen in 3. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. There's no Soulnado. There is, like, Shao Kahn steals all of Earthrealm's souls, but it wasn't the imagery of a tornado. The only tornado of souls that appears in 3 is the small one in the mouth of the Soul Chamber.
Yeah, that's a no for me, Chief. Thanks.
I mean, if they are trying to say that Nightwolf destroyed the Soul Chamber, I'll buy that. Somebody had to have done it. It's unspoken in 3, but the souls of Earthrealm had to have been freed in order to restore Earthrealm at the end of the game.
If they're gonna go somewhere, and
I'm just saying, like,
to the Soul Chamber.
The game never says. The game never says Cabal Striker and Nightwolf are the ones who did it. Okay, that's new. That's Scott making some stuff up there. I'm okay with it. It doesn't contradict anything. I just want to acknowledge when Scott is making stuff up.
You know, there was a place where Shao Kahn was supposed to have stored a lot of those souls, and
yes,
it was all those little soul cages that were supposed to be all around the Pit 3 that exist in sprite form.
I mean, realistically, you can only keep like 3 souls of those fucking lamps, man. There are only 3 lamps.
Maybe they're magic soul lamps. You can fit, I don't know, a good couple 100,000 in each of them.
All right. Well, I mean, the roof of Cod's fortress does explode in the ending sequence. I'm sure those lamps blew up.
Just saying, you know, they were in there. They were in the Soul Chamber. He stores them in places.
A lot of them were in his body. They shoot out of him as in laser form when Liu Kang beats his ass.
He was snacking.
The whole point of the Soul Chamber is he's going to gradually consume those souls for himself. He just can't do it all at once, so he needs a fridge to keep the food in. So
anyway, this entire little blurb is about as bullshit as most of Cabal's history itself.
It is, again, it doesn't necessarily contradict anything, but it is invented.
Yeah.
Yeah, so here's Kai.
Hey, it's this guy.
He's in the Living Forest. That stage does appear at MK4. That's okay.
It does.
That's okay.
Sure.
Could have modeled the Shaolin Temple, but again, nitpicking. Kai, like Liu Kang and Kung Lao, is a former member of the White Lotus Society. After the defeat of Shao Kahn, Kai meets up with his friend and ally Liu Kang to learn and train as a Shaolin warrior. Upon learning of the war waged by Shinnok, Kai joins Liu Kang and his allies to battle the fallen Elder God. Yeah, that's Kai's bio. That's MK4.
Checks out.
Yeah. Kai is training with Liu Kang when they both observe a possible meteor landing near them. They investigate to find Fujin being attacked by Netherrealm demons, which they help repel. Raiden arrives to explain that Edenia has been invaded by Shinnok and is being used to attack the Elder Gods. Kai joins the other Earthrealm warriors and Edenia to fight Shinnok. After Shinnok's defeat, Kai decides to travel the Earth, and Raiden gives him his Thunder Staff in gratitude.
I detect no problems.
So, one of my favorite things here, we didn't really look at it when we were looking at Fujin, but with the MK4 ending, see, all of these bios and endings, the text is exactly the same as the text in the picture, because there is already text. MK4 endings aren't made of text, so they are summaries of the cutscene instead.
It's greatly appreciated.
Yes, Kai is standing on the side of a cliff when Raiden appears before him, stating that he has become a true Shaolin warrior. Kai thanks Raiden, but says he has no interest in becoming a Shaolin warrior anymore due to having too many of his own problems. What does that mean? Raiden asks Kai what he'll do next, and Kai answers non-committally. Wander the earth, search for my soul. That kind of thing. Raiden offers
and it's true,
Kai
he says he's got problems of his own to work through.
Yeah. What problems do you have, Kai? What problems do you have?
Those of the existential type.
Raiden offers Kai his Thunder Staff, saying that it will help him on his path, possibly unlocking immortality. Kai thanks Raiden for the gift and swears he will not fail the Thunder God. And then a week later, he gives the staff back off screen.
Look, okay. I've always assumed he was out there for a number of years. Quite some time.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know.
But that's neither here nor there.
We don't know how long. I think the timeline on MK4 is vague. It is anywhere from 2 to 5 years before Deadly Alliance and Deception. But we do see in Deception that Kai doesn't want the staff anymore for some reason, or is like, I don't need it anymore, so maybe he's immortal now? But he gives it to Shujinko and says, Shujinko, can you give this back to Raiden for me? And then Raiden has the staff in Deadly Alliance, so that happened.
I like to think that Kai maybe dropped it off at the nearest Shaolin temple. Shujinko maybe just dropped it off at the nearest Shaolin temple.
Yeah, I think you give it to Kung Lao if you...
Something like... Yeah, I think that's it. I think, if I'm remembering right, was it?
Yeah.
I'm not just pulling it out of my ass.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, you can't really take any of those side quests at face value.
That's true. Kai staff chain is not a main story quest, so it may have not happened. But Raiden does have the staff back in Deadly Alliance.
There's some substance going on there, I think.
Alright, Kano.
Use your might.
Kano fight. The world is at your feet.
But he's never gonna get it. He's never gonna get the world.
No, he's not in fact the strongest of them all.
What an odd thing to say.
Well, of the playable roster, I guess he has the biggest biceps. Goro's in that game, so it's a
sure, maybe people you can select.
Weird claim when Goro is there. That's the thing.
Hey, look, it's Jackson Briggs. We're completely wrong. All right.
Well, Jax wasn't in the first tournament. We're not going to worry about that.
No.
What we are going to worry about is that Kano's chain here it has a problem at the end. It's at the end though. We're gonna get to that later. So,
I was gonna say I feel like we've already covered a lot of like the most major issues that are in this thing, and now we get to Kano.
No, the biggest issue with these bios is the Shiva Motaro Kano events.
Yes,
but let's start at the beginning. So they put Kano in the Palace Gates, which is he's an MK1 character. That's fine.
Works for me.
Thief, scoundrel, lout, murderer, the Australian crime lord known as Kano would slice his own mother's throat or betray his home world for the right price. As leader of the Black Dragon, he earned the personal enmity of Sonya Blade and became involved in the tournament out of pure greed. He is, in fact, Australian. That is true now.
Yeah, these days, yes, it is. He's been Australian ever since Deadly Alliance, at the very least.
Actually, he's been Australian since Special Forces, which is in this collection. That was the first game where he had the voice acting, where they gave him the Trevor Goddard voice.
That's true. I stand corrected.
All right. Kano arrives at the tournament via Shang Tsung's boat, intending to pillage the island with his Black Dragon clan once he wins the tournament. He finds that Sonya Blade and her team followed him and were captured by Shang Tsung's palace guards. In the tournament, Kano loses to Sonya. Once Liu Kang defeats Shang Tsung, the sorcerer retreats to Outworld, taking Kano and Sonya as his prisoners. So, this isn't technically wrong.
No.
It's leaving some things out. And nowhere did they actually say in the games that Sonya and Kano fought each other in the tournament and that Sonya won.
It's a little detail, which I would say is very heavily inspired by MK95.
Yeah, that happens in the movie. That doesn't... None of the games ever actually said that, but it's fine. It's fine.
I got no issues with that. I was reading through the John Tobias tweets of the day, and he was like, we never really established how the tournament worked loosely, but he was specifying that he kind of figured that it would start at the beginning with one side against the other, Earth versus Outworld, but it wouldn't be impossible for Outworlders to fight Outworlders and Earth people to fight Earth people.
I mean, it's inevitable if you follow a bracket. If more Earth guys win, then in the next round, some of them are going to face each other, because that's a bracket.
How do 7 people wind up surviving? Just 7. Odd number.
Well, it's just, the surviving really comes down to who does and doesn't do a fatality, that's all. But, I do want to point out, we've got, Yeah, I suppose it's only the MK1 comic that says he's Japanese. It never actually says that in the game. Well, an American abandoned and raised in Japan. So all you do is swap that out for Australian.
He could have still been abandoned and
grew
up in Australia. It's if you want to, you can really.
Well, I think the thing is
all that together in headcanon.
The reason Tobias had him raised in Japan was because he wanted the Black Dragon to be aesthetically similar to the Yakuza.
The Yakuza, yes.
So I think you still need to sort of have, Kano. I mean, abandoned by his parents, an orphan, that leads to a life of crime, that makes sense. Modern Kano has a backstory of military training and mercenary work. So you could sort of get from a guy who tried out the army and went AWOL because he didn't like it, to a guy jumping from country to country, to a guy working for the Japanese branch of an international crime syndicate. You could do that still. You could make it all fit together as one thing.
I think his bio said he was deported from, 9 countries? He's a well-traveled man.
He's
been around.
He's been deported... I can't remember if... It's either deported from 36 countries or wanted in 36 countries. Something like that. It's a lot.
You have to work really hard to be deported from 36 countries. If that's the number. That's impressive. That has to be a Guinness record.
I think it was maybe he was deported from Japan and he's wanted in 36 countries. That makes more sense.
That sounds more accurate.
Yeah, more reasonable. But the other thing here is it says that the sorcerer retreats to Outworld, taking Kano and Sonya as his prisoners. That's not exactly how it happened. As we see in the comic, when he caused the island to collapse, Sonya and Kano fell in the pit, and because the island was collapsing into Outworld, they didn't land on the spikes, they were teleported to Outworld. And then the Shokan found and took them as prisoners, because the Shokan were looking for Goro and found them instead.
Well, it's a succinct abbreviation.
Yeah, if you're shortening things for, brevity's sake, this is good enough.
That's what that is.
Yeah, so, taken prisoner by Shang Tsung after the tournament, Kano finds himself chained in Shao Kahn's Coliseum as a trophy, along with his nemesis Sonya Blade. Upon Shao Kahn's defeat, Kano manages to free himself and escape both Sonya and Jax Briggs. Yes, we see that in the intro to MK3.
There's a bit of a... Again, another little bit of condensing things. I think he escapes because Jax frees Sonya, but winds up freeing Kano at the same time.
Yeah, like he freed Kano so that he could take Kano into... He was taking Kano into custody, and Kano just slipped out.
I also think it was like the mechanisms that held Sonya in place were tied to the mechanisms that held Kano in place.
I don't know if there was pulling a lever. I think Jax broke the chains on their wrists. I think that's more...
Maybe.
Yeah.
The phrasing was weird.
Yeah. Ultimate MK3. So I guess I was wrong about it ever saying vanilla. It only ever says Ultimate or Trilogy.
Yeah, looks like. Sometimes it's wrong if it says Trilogy, but yes.
Yeah. Kano approaches Shao Kahn and makes an offer. He would train Outworld soldiers to use Earthrealm weapons in exchange for his soul being spared. Shao Kahn accepts, and in the aftermath of the scouring of Earth's population, Kano provides weapons to Shao's extermination squads. Later, Sonya Blade confronts him in the building he uses for his headquarters. Their battle ends with Sonya throwing him off a balcony. He is found by Shiva, who takes him back to Outworld as the realms separate. Here's the problem.
Okay, so let's start around 3/4 of the way through. Later, Sonya Blade confronts him in the building he uses for his headquarters. That's new information, but I kind of like it.
That actually, I did.
He's holed up in the bank or something, maybe?
Yeah, so
totally would be.
So the rooftop that he's thrown off of in the story is the rooftop stage. And the rooftop stage is the roof of the bank stage because there's a stage transition there. It's one building.
Look at us. We think exactly alike. It's
Yeah, so I always assumed that the reason Sonya fought Kano on the roof is because he was, like, using the bank to, as, like, his repository to hand out weapons to the Outworlders and stuff.
So yeah, great. This is an extra little detail that I actually happen to really enjoy. I like this a lot.
Yeah. It's an addition made up from nowhere, but it makes sense.
Yep.
So we're parallel thinking with Scott on that one. But
nice
the use of the word balcony is incorrect. I don't know why he chose balcony, because the balcony is a different stage in Shao Kahn's fortress.
There's many balconies. There's a balcony and there's the balcony.
Right, but if
yes,
you're
I would have said rooftop.
If you're on the roof of a building and someone throws you over the roof, you did not fall off a balcony. You fell off a roof. Those are two different things. A balcony is a ledge that comes out of a window.
I think that we all basically interpret it as being the rooftop stage.
Yeah, I think people know what a balcony is. Anyway. He is found by Shiva. That's not right. That's not what happened.
Take it away, Razor.
I don't know why he even put Shiva instead of Motaro here, because it conflicts with nothing.
You still could have done that, right? Like, you still could have just, like, it could have ended with he is found by Motaro,
yes,
who takes him back to Shao Kahn to be punished.
Well,
if you have to remove things, you could at least still leave that in.
Yeah, even if you leave the part who takes him back to Outworld as the realm separate, it could still have been Motaro that did it. Unless they're trying to say that Shiva found his body after Khan has been defeated and things are being sucked back and the merger is ending. That's not right, though. The timing on all of this is wrong. So here's the thing. And according to Scott, some of the things in this are written the way they were because they found what they claim to be conflicts. Like, one event in another story prevents an event in this story from making sense, so they had to choose which one was right. That doesn't apply here. Okay? So here's what the situation is. In Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, it gives a backstory for Kano that explains a bunch of events happening during MK3 to explain how Kano got to where he is in Deadly Alliance. So we learned about this at Deadly Alliance, but it's about MK3. And they said that they were not taking information from later games, but then they also have Bihan being Noob Saibot and Shao Kahn overthrowing Onaga and Baraka's calling Tarkat, and
really ultimately the very silly thing about all this is that there's a version of Deadly Alliance and Tournament Edition on this compilation.
Yes, there is. There are actually
so
two. So
those don't count, or
there are two Game Boy Deadly Alliance games in this collection, but the Deadly Alliance characters don't get bios. The cutoff point had to be Arcade MK4. Anyway, so the actual
lesser releases.
The actual canon events are that Sonya throws Kano off the rooftop.
Right.
Motaro, who was leading the extermination squads down in the streets, finds Kano and takes him back to the fortress to be healed. After Kano is, his death has been prevented, he's thrown in the dungeon as punishment for failing to defeat the Earth Warriors. While Motaro is guarding Kano, Shiva comes out of the shadows and kills Motaro. Kano then goes, "Hey, you're turning on these guys. Let me out of here, and I will help you. Obviously, I'm in a cell. We're on the outs. I'm good to go if you get me the fuck out of here." So Shiva,
Shao Kahn together.
Yeah. So Shiva and Kano go to kill Shao Kahn. When they get to the throne room, Kano goes, "I'll go in first and distract him, and then you can come in and get him from behind." Kano goes in, immediately says, Shiva's coming to kill you, get ready. So when Shiva comes in, she walks into a sword. Shao Kahn fucking guts her.
And that is the end of her.
And we know that this happens before the invasion is over, because the next thing it says is, now that Motaro is dead, his general is dead, Shao Kahn promotes Kano to being the new general, and he sends Kano to Outworld to get reinforcements, because the Earthrealmers are coming. They are sieging the fortress. The game is not over. Kano goes to get reinforcements. By the time he has them and comes back, it's too late. Liu Kang has already defeated Shao Kahn. So all that stuff happens before, explicitly before Liu Kang defeats Shao Kahn and MK3 ends. The only reason all of these events are either not reported or are straight up wrong in this collection is because somebody must have told Scott Liu Kang has to fight Motaro before he fights Shao Kahn, because that's what's in the ladder. The ladder's not fucking canon.
I want to, again, point out something along these lines. When reading the John Tobias tweets, he explicitly says, the ladder in MK1 is not meant to represent the actual tournament. There were no real endurance rounds. It's not 1-for-1.
Yeah, the ladders, the ladders are not part of the story. It's cute when you can reference them and it works, like having Kentaro be the second to last fight of MK2. There's nothing that says he wasn't. That's fine. But you also need to know Kentaro fought in the bracket. He doesn't only serve as the sub-boss. He fought in the tournament multiple rounds.
Exactly.
You know, Jade might have been in the tournament, she might not have. The question mark might be canon, it might not. You don't have to force that. In fact, I'm pretty sure Jade's bio doesn't mention anything about her competing in the MK2 tournament in this. Even though that question mark is there. So the question mark,
like
they decided that's not canon.
Kind of deal.
But Motaro being a sub-boss, that has to be canon. We have to have that. Fuck you, man.
It seems a decision not born out of hostility, but just kind of ignorance. It's very unfortunate. A very baseline understanding of how things work from someone who's never read anything John put out there. But anyway.
Yeah, so that's the problem. The events where Kano became the general and Motaro and Shiva both died are not in this collection. They are explicitly canon. They're super fucking canon. And they decided
Again, Scott,
this is revisionist history.
Fault.
You can't just lie in a documentary.
Really, I mean, Hollywood documentaries about musicians lie all the time.
Yeah, but a biopic is for entertainment.
It shouldn't
it's
be
not
happening
a real
here.
documentary.
It should not be happening here.
No.
This is a real documentary.
Yeah, this
real
is
events.
It's supposed to be preservationist. It's supposed to be a report of events from the past. You're not supposed to be retconning stuff with information you came up with in 2025.
These games use real people. This stuff actually happened.
Anyway.
Actually, you know what? While we're here, do you want to just, like, go right into Shiva and, like, Motaro and get this trilogy over with?
Yeah.
Lest we just belabor the points over and over again.
Yeah. Okay, so, Shiva. A proud member of Outworld Shao Kahn race, Shiva was chosen by Shao Kahn to act as Sindel's bodyguard. While she accepted this prestigious assignment, she remained suspicious of the Emperor's motives, as her people's longtime rivals, the Centaurians, were chosen to lead the extermination squads in the wake of high-profile losses by the Shao Kahn in Mortal Kombat. That's all true. Goro and Kentaro lost in their tournaments, so the Shao Kahn are being demoted, and their enemies are being promoted, and Shiva's suspicious about it.
Perfect.
Yes.
10 stars.
After Sindel is resurrected by Shang Tsung and Shao Kahn commences his invasion of Earth, Shiva is selected to act as Sindel's protector. While she's wary of the Emperor's motives, given her people were passed over for the extermination squads by the Centaurians, she is never given a chance to act on her suspicions. She is confronted by Katana and Jade, ultimately falling to Jade in battle. Okay.
So, we cover that in Jade's a little bit, too.
I would like to suggest a possibility here. Now, if you want to keep Shiva actually doing the bodyguard thing and being beaten by Jade while Katana saves Sindel, you can keep that. In fact, Story might be stronger if you do, because you can have Kitana and Jade be the ones who convince Shiva, hey, Khan's gonna let the Centaurs kill the Shokan. This is the wrong side for you.
Maybe they actually, like, maybe they actually know what the deal is exactly. Like,
Yeah.
perhaps, like, maybe we can say Kitana or Jade was at that meeting where, like, Shao Kahn was talking to Motaro in secret. There's a lot of room to work with.
Yes.
You could use this as a baseline for where Shiva gets pissed off and then marches off towards
Absolutely.
trying to
Like,
kill Shao Kahn.
after losing to Jade, you could then put in that she goes and kills Motaro and gets stabbed by Khan. Man,
That would actually be one of, assuming that were the case, this would actually be a lot of concrete events put together. That'd be more detail for
Yeah.
a single character maybe than anyone has had in the original trilogy.
Yeah, look, fucking right here. Khan now favors Motaro's race of centaurs and aids them in defeating the Shokan. After learning of these events, Shiva turns on her master. She meets Motaro. Yeah, that part doesn't happen. So the whole thing is, Shiva is supposed to canonically find out that after the invasion is over, I'm going to keep favoring the centaurs. I'm going to let them take the Shokan's lands. I'm going to let them kill or enslave the Shokan. It's all centaurs from here on out, baby. Shiva is supposed to find out about that. She is supposed to succeed at acting on her suspicions and kill fucking Motaro.
Yeah, this entire last little bit is...
You literally
once again-
cannot write the sentence, she's never given a chance to act on her suspicions. That's a lie. That's not what canonically happened.
Well, she tried to act upon her suspicions, but...
Yeah, she did.
you know.
She has a chance to act on them. She does act on them. She kills Motaro and then she dies. She's in the Nether Realm in both Deception and Armageddon.
It's also really, really weird that, like, this bit doesn't reference her finding Kano while the other one does.
Yeah. Well, you know that you remember Cabal's thing said that he helped Nightwolf. Him and Stryker helped Nightwolf stop the Solnado. Nightwolf and Stryker's sections don't mention a Solnado.
All right, that's 2 out of 3. Let's finish the trifecta.
All right, where is it?
Horsey.
Motaro, a member of Outworld's Centaurian race.
Motaro was chosen by Shao Kahn to lead the extermination squad sent to terminate Earth's warriors. Centaurians are the rivals of the Shokan, whose warriors had suffered humiliating defeats in the last 2 tournaments.
That's all correct.
Legit.
After Shao Kahn strips Earth of human life, Motaro leads the extermination squads to eliminate any warriors Reda managed to protect. After his squad executes Johnny Cage, Motaro confronts Liu Kang at Shao Kahn's fortress, but is defeated and retreats back. Defeated and retreats back to Outworld? He's dead! He's fucking... He's in the Netherrealm in Armageddon.
Like,
How did he get
remember
there?
how absolutely amazing it was when Deadly Alliance came out, and we were like, wow, there's so much detail about what happened at the closing stages of MK3 when Deadly Alliance... It was revelatory, because, like, we didn't, at that point in time, know much of what had happened at the end of MK3 or MK4. We didn't have that kind of detail. Deadly Alliance was the first game after, like, MK4's endings to give us kind of substance and closure and events to those games. So it was a real breath of fresh air to learn that stuff about Ermac and Kenshi and Shiva, Motaro, and Kano. That was like, wow, it's substance. It's really neat.
Yeah.
And this just does that a tremendous disservice. It's very unfortunate.
It's really disappointing. And it's also like, what are you gonna do in the bio sections if you make a 3D era one of these? Because Shiva and Motaro appear in the Netherrealm in Armageddon. They're in the story mode. Taven fights them.
Ugh.
How did they die? Gee, I wonder.
I was going through some of the old MKO chat, Fight Night chats. John Vogel says that Motaro was 2 dudes in a horse suit.
Okay, so
We were at
Kintaro
Yay!
in the arena where he belongs.
That's a good picture.
A peasant warrior from Outworld's race of Shokan, Kintaro became known for his brutal fighting skills and many victories in battle. Upon Goro's defeat and disappearance at the Mortal Kombat tournament, Kintaro is hand-selected by Goro's father, King Gorbak, to compete in the Outworld tournament and reclaim the honor of the Shokan people. Upon Shao Kahn's... Yeah?
If we're gonna like reference stuff that happens that was brought up later on in the NRS period,
Yeah.
I would have imported the whole Tigrar Draco identity. I'd call him a Tigrar warrior. I like the term.
You could, but there is a slight conflict there. If there is racism between the Draco and the Tigrar, then it's weird that this guy is Gorbak's handpick. And that is what happens in the MK2 comic. Gorbak says, I want this guy to be our Shokan representative because he's our best fighter. You would think if there was this caste system business, he'd want to pick someone from his own family.
Maybe. Prejudice isn't always universal. I'd be willing to overlook it. Anyhow.
It
does call him a peasant warrior. That's interesting.
I mean, he is obviously different from Goro. He's clearly a different race. He can't possibly be one of the royal family. I
think the illusion is still there.
Yeah.
That's good enough for me.
It is good enough. I think that's fine. Upon Shao Kahn's agreement with Shang Tsung's plan for an Outworld tournament, King Gorbak of the Shokan asks that Kintaro compete in place of the missing Goro. Kintaro accompanies Shang Tsung during the attack on Johnny Cage, fighting the just-arrived Jax. Later, Kintaro fights in the Outworld tournament only to be defeated by Liu Kang. I guess, strictly following canon, that's pretty much what happened, yeah.
I'm actually kind of surprised that they didn't credit Kung Lao with it. Given MK9 and Shaolin monks.
I mean, the whole thing of the fight in MK9 is that Raiden specifically says, Liu Kang's not the one, I'll try out Kung Lao, and then it gets Kung Lao killed. So obviously, the original sequence of events must have involved Liu, if you follow the 9 timeline.
Alright, so this is an instance where we don't have a problem with Liu Kang beating the sub-boss.
Sure.
That's cool.
I mean, there's the old rumors that Raiden was the one who killed Kintaro. That was never canon officially. It's just a thing I like.
Or the logic that Jax did it, considering how strong Jax is, and
Well, the rumor. Well, not a rumor, but it was in a Threshold made strategy guide, a CD-ROM. Said that Kintaro defeated Jax and injured him and was going to kill him, and Raiden killed Kintaro to save Jax's life. So
interesting way to look at things.
I see what I like about that is the idea that Jax goes into MK3 going, I'm the strongest man in the world and I'm still not as strong as some of the Outworlders are. That's why I need these bionic upgrades.
Yeah, he runs into this thing. That'd shake any man.
So if the guy who kicked his ass and proved that you need to be stronger is Kintaro, that makes a lot of sense, especially because Jax and Kintaro already started a fight but didn't finish it in the comic book.
Truth.
Yeah. But, again, that was a Threshold product. It was never Midway canon, so that they're not including that here is fine. One thing that's missing that I do think is weird is that there were official sources that said during MK2, Kintaro was the general, that he was literally promoted to Goro's rank because Goro was gone. And they don't mention anything about... They don't mention anything about generals here, or I think in Goro's, it's only Motaro stuff where general stuff is mentioned.
I remember that being the case for Kintaro too.
But there's definitely text in the games that talks about Goro and Kintaro being the supreme commander of Outworld's armies at the time of their game.
Goro, I don't remember that being the case, but Kintaro, yes.
Yeah, no, it's in there. I
okay.
Would have
I'll
to
take your word for it.
Dig up stuff to figure out which game it's mentioned in, or which game's side material it's mentioned in, but it's a thing. Anyway.
Alright, so no real major problems there.
Yeah. I do appreciate that they don't put trilogy... Like, Kintaro was playable in one version of Trilogy, but wasn't in the other, so technically him being there isn't canon. Yeah.
I've always liked to picture him as being around during the invasion for it, but
Well, again, I subscribe to the
understand
idea
why
that he
you
died in
wouldn't.
the tournament, but that's not what they say here anyway. Anyway, Kitana. They put her in the combat tomb. That's an MK2 stage. That seems fine.
oh, seems cool to me.
Okay, so for
That
millennia,
overlapping text is bothering me. For millennia, Kitana served her adoptive father Shao Kahn alongside her sister Melina as his top assassin. In reality, she was the daughter of Edenia's rulers, claimed by Shao Kahn after he conquered that realm and killed her parents. In addition, her sister was in fact a clone created by Shang Tsung. Once she learned her true origins, she turned against the Emperor and now fights to free both Edenia and Earth from Shao Kahn's evil.
yeah, you know, the text,
Summary?
the resume button is too close to the text, and I don't know how this resume button works, because sometimes it's there and sometimes it's not.
That's probably a bug, honestly.
Yeah, let's see, if you go all the way down to the bottom. Yeah, see, the first time you ever look at any of these pictures, there's like a ring of light that appears after you look at them, because it's like logging that you've seen everything and 100%ing the section.
Yep.
But after you've 100%ed everything, the resume button shouldn't appear anymore, should it?
Well, their Discord does let you file bugs.
Yeah. Alright, so...
Screenshot taken.
Kitana assists Shang Tsung in attacking Johnny Cage's film set, retreating once Shang delivers his challenge to the gathered Outworld warriors. That should say to the gathered Earthrealm warriors, shouldn't it?
Yes, that's wrong.
He's not challenging Outworld to a tournament, he's from Outworld, he's challenging Earth to a tournament.
Screenshot taken.
So that's a typo. During the Outworld tournament, a discussion with an Earthrealm warrior causes her already present doubts to turn into full-blown rebellion. Once Shao Kahn is defeated by Liu Kang, she confronts and kills her clone Melina, then escapes. Basically true.
Oh yeah, there's...
I
remember there was a bit of conversation about the fact that, Melina dies after the tournament.
Yeah, the game never says when the fight between Kitana and Melina takes place. So it's kind of an assumption here that Kitana kills Melina after Liu has beaten Kahn. Like I guess Scott is imagining a scenario where as the Earthrealmers leave to go back to Earth, Kitana, throws a fit, fights Melina, and goes with them.
Right.
That's not how I imagined it in my head, but if you just go by the text, there's a big blank space where it's open for interpretation, how all that went down. Because in my head, so there's a bit missing from here that is described here. Kitana is accused of treason by the High Courts of Outworld. Now, it doesn't actually say whether Kitana was in custody during this trial. That she may have been charged with murder in absentia. But I always imagined that when MK2 ended, Kitana was, taken into custody, and then she was present for this trial, and then she escaped during MK3.
Yeah, I always figured it was kind of a courtroom scenario.
Because the thing of it is, and we've talked about this before in various videos, the bios kind of account for characters who are in Ultimate or Trilogy showing up to the fighting late, to explain why they weren't in Vanilla 3. So if Kitana...
Kind of takes place over the course of a few days.
Yeah.
Raiden is off asking the Elder Gods what the fuck, Baraka's off quelling an invasion, or an uprising.
Yeah. Scorpion was in hell, and then he didn't appear in the fighting until Shao Kahn tried to take the souls from hell.
Melina was being resurrected slowly.
Reptile and Jade are only sent on a mission when the mission is Kitana, so if Kitana's late to the stuff, that's why they were late too.
So yeah, she's escaping wherever she's being held or is being put on trial.
Yeah,
She escapes from Outworld into Earthrealm, looking for Liu Kang.
But if she went with the Earthrealmers at the end of 2, then she should have been involved in the fighting back at the very beginning of the invasion. She should have been in Vanilla MK3.
Bingo.
But yeah, so, one other thing The way this is worded, that her, already present doubts turned into full-blown rebellion, kind of paints the idea that she wasn't already working against Shao Kahn's interests, which is the MK9 version of things. The original, the original continuity is that Kitana...
It's over the years.
Kitana already knows that Khan is not her father and is plotting against him in secret before the MK2 tournament starts. So somebody told Scott to word it the MK9 way.
Nope. Inaccurate.
Yeah.
Look, not terrible to the extent that other things are, but still
it's just word choices. It's semantics for this one.
And you and I, we know from semantics.
Oh yeah, I'm big on semantics. That's my whole jam.
We're semantic nitpicky motherfuckers. Don't
Yes.
anyone forget it.
So during the Outworld invasion, Kitana meets up with her Earth allies in order to aid them in freeing their realm. Upon learning of her mother's rebirth, she sets off to confront her mother and free her from Shao Kahn's influence. Along the way, she's intercepted by Jade and Reptile. Kitana reminds Jade of her Edenian heritage, and the two successfully defeat Reptile. Kitana confronts her mother, breaking the corruption on her soul. Upon Edenia's separation from Outworld, Kitana and Sindel return to their home to rebuild. That's all correct.
This is the part from Liu Kang's ending where Kitana thanks him before, going home. But
yeah,
that's
a
I guess,
minor detail.
quibble.
There is. I don't think anything in these bios mentions Liu and Kitana being romantic in any way. I mean,
there's not much in the way of allusion to it.
The MK4 ending is still a thing. She, wanted to marry him.
We don't get there yet.
Not yet. Yeah, because Kitana doesn't have an MK4 section because gold's not in the collection.
Yep.
That'll be under Liu Kang, though.
It will.
Yeah. Alright, Kung Lao. Who's in the Deadpool for some reason.
This strikes me as unusual.
It's fine. He's an MK2 character. It's an MK2 stage. There were better choices, but whatever,
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Kung Lao is the last known descendant of the Great Kung Lao, the Shaolin monk who first defeated Shang Tsung in the Mortal Kombat tournament, but was ultimately slain by Goro. Armed with his distinctive razor-brimmed hat, he fights to protect Earth, alongside his fellow Shaolin monk and White Lotus Society member Liu Kang. That's correct. I like that they remembered he's the last descendant of Great Kung Lao, because in the NRS games, he's not. There's a whole family. So, I noticed that nobody told Scott to change that.
The last known descendant.
Fair enough. After the Outworld attack on the Shaolin temples, Kung Lao meets with Liu Kang to offer his support. They interrupt Shang Tsung's attack on Johnny Cage's film set, and Kung Lao joins the other Earth Warriors for the Outworld tournament. He survives and is present when Liu Kang defeats Shao Kahn, saving the realm. It's
Interesting. True. Yeah.
It does omit any motivation. Why was Kung Lao not at the first tournament? What is Kung Lao's whole deal?
Yeah, like...
It's a matter for debate, and they seem to have sidestepped that debate completely.
I'm a little bit surprised with the repeated instances of him being in disguise as a masked guard, that they didn't go and retroactively say, "Oh yeah, he watched the tournament. He tried to sneak in, but Raiden, said no."
Yeah. None of that happens in the old games, so they were, remaining accurate.
Thankfully, it's a detail that I like, but it didn't originally happen.
Right, but this would have been an opportunity to flesh out the Tobias version of why Kung Lao did not attend MK1, which is that he didn't believe in Outworld, and he thought the White Lotus Society in Tobias's games. So the canonical version of the White Lotus Society, what they do was never actually established until Deception. And in Deception, they say that it's a training, it's a group of martial artists brought together by Raiden to prepare for the Mortal Kombat tournaments. So, But in the arcade era, Tobias never explained it, but what he intended the White Lotus Society to be was a Chinese political/vigilante organization.
Closer to the real-life equivalent.
Yes. And so the idea was that Kung Lao, fights crime and injustice in China, and that this is important to him. He thinks he's doing, important work for the world, and he has, Robin Shu in the 95 movies backstory of not believing in the stories about what Mortal Kombat is. And so he's like, I'm not gonna go to some dumb martial arts tournament because the elders at the temple tell me it's about magic and saving the world. I'm doing real world-saving work with this political organization. I gotta be at a protest on Tuesday. My schedule's full. But again, none of that was ever mentioned in the games. So
I can't fault them for not.
But
anyways, it's a nice little concise summary of the MK2 comic.
Yeah, this is
non-committal as to what he does in the tournament.
See, this is straight
yes.
By the book, sticking to the text. I gotta respect that. Because there are a few places where they did not do that. So in MK3, Kung Lao trains a new generation of Shaolin alongside Liu Kang, only to be caught off guard when Shao Kahn begins his invasion and strips the planet of life. Kung Lao joins Liu Kang in attacking the Emperor's base of operations. The monk is gravely injured but survives.
So we don't think he's actually died in this telling of things.
Yeah.
But that's the thing that pisses off Liu Kang hard enough to really take down Shao Kahn is the problem.
Yeah, I mean, so this is, by the book, the text is that they thought he was dead, but he wasn't. What's being left out here is that they don't find out he's still alive until MK4, because that's part of Gold, and Gold's not in the collection.
The approach I really would have taken with all these is not to alter events so that it seems like there are no other games and this all seems complete and concise, but I would write a lot of these so that they trail off with a bunch of periods,
Yeah, if you could leave a to be continued or something.
The monk is apparently killed. Or is he?
Well,
that would leave...
The monk is gravely injured. He but disappears or something like that, something that implies that he is alive, but that they don't know he's alive. I don't know.
Some ellipses, just acknowledge that there's more to come.
It's a tricky needle to thread.
I just don't think that taking the tack that these are the only games to exist and writing them as such is...
I honestly just would have put Gold in the fucking thing. I know they can't put the game in, they're working on it, they wouldn't have it done by launch, they're still looking at whether they can do it or not. We might never get Gold, or we might get Gold as DLC. And if we do get it as DLC, I hope they put it, expand these bios.
I'm just saying, just because we can see some details from games that aren't here, doesn't mean we're going to be upset that they're not here any more than people already are.
I would have included in these bios an MK4 section for Goro, Cyrax, Sector, Kitana, Melina, Baraka, and Kung Lao. That's all I would have done.
Cyrax asterisk.
Yeah. Anyway, okay.
Alright.
He's at the palace gates, that's fine. A devout Shaolin monk.
For me. I like that.
Yeah. Devout Shaolin monk and former member of the White Lotus Society, Liu Kang's humble nature belies an unmatched skill in the martial arts. Having entered the Mortal Kombat tournament to protect Earth and bring honor to the Shaolin, Liu Kang becomes Earthrealm's greatest champion. After gaining permission to enter the tournament from the elders of the Wuxi Academy, it's odd that they call it the Wuxi Academy, because that stage didn't exist until Deadly Alliance. Is the Wuxi Academy and the Shaolin Temple the same building?
I think that's what we're trying to establish. It's all one organization. Or that the Wuxi Academy is the school within the Shaolin temples.
Okay, so MK Shaolin monks establishes them as being the same place. But I always kind of imagined, because the Shaolin Temple is a real location in the real world, that the Wuxi Academy was a separate building where they go to train, and they live at the Shaolin Temple, and the Wuxi is a nearby school. Something like that.
It's an organization within an organization.
It's whatever the case may be. So at the Wuxi Academy, Liu Kang travels to the tournament aboard Shang Tsung's boat, befriending Johnny Cage. At the tournament, Liu Kang makes short work of his opponents, earning the right to face Goro, the champion himself. Having prepared for Goro, he defeats the Shokan in a brutal fight. Liu Kang then defeats Shang Tsung, winning the tournament. Shang Tsung tries to destroy the island in spite, but Raiden creates an escape portal for Liu Kang and his new allies. So, that last sentence there, Raiden only did that for Johnny Cage. I always kind of imagined Liu escaped by boat. Because it happens off-screen in the comic. Like, we don't know how Liu got off the island. But Raiden says, everyone else is already off the island, I just gotta get you out of here, Johnny.
So slightly inaccurate at the very end.
Yeah.
Bummer.
So, Mortal Kombat 2, Liu Kang returns home to the Shaolin temples, only to find his fellow monks massacred by Outworld forces. Liu Kang would later be confronted by Shang Tsung, who challenges him and those of Earthrealm to a final all-or-nothing tournament in Outworld. He accepts along with his comrades, and travels to Outworld to compete. He earns Kitana's trust at the tournament by sparing her life, and eventually defeats Shao Kahn himself, saving Earth once again. So there's a conclusion being jumped to about how and Kitana get to know each other, but it's fine.
Yeah.
It's probably something that happened.
Wants to tell us that they fought and he let her live, and that's how I don't know. I think I would have worded that differently. It would be,
the idea of
Kitana's trust and go on.
Yeah, if you just said here's Kitana's trust at the tournament, don't say that, how the fight went. Because there are several versions of Liu and Kitana fighting each other throughout adaptations. There's the 95 version where Kitana goes into the fight not intending to fight for real anyway. She's just trying to pass information. There's the MK9 version where she's trying to assassinate him.
This seems pretty inspired by Scorpion's Revenge, honestly.
Yes. This is the most similar to how it happens in Scorpion's Revenge, which is a cartoon movie, not a game.
In isolation, not a thing I actually object to, if you consider it that way. Because I do like how they did it in there. But still, I wouldn't say by sparing her life, I would just say by virtue of his character.
Yeah, because again, Kitana is supposed to go into the tournament already looking for ways to ally with the Earthrealmers.
Mm-hmm.
And they've omitted that in this collection. MK3.
All right.
Liu Kang finds his soul spared when Shao Kahn opens his portal and scours the planet of all life. Responding to a vision from Raiden, he meets with his fellow Earthrealm warriors and comes up with a plan to confront and defeat Shao Kahn. While others deal with the tornado of souls and the extermination squads, Liu Kang...
tornado again.
Yeah. Again, the only tornado is the little one in the soul chamber. I guess that's what they mean. Liu Kang confronts Shao Kahn after defeating Motaro, which he never fought Motaro. In the ensuing battle, Liu Kang decisively defeats Shao Kahn and forces the Emperor to retreat back to Outworld. Forces him to retreat? I saw Shao Kahn blow up. Lasers shot out of his body. He disappeared. The roof blew off the fortress, and it was all sucked through the portal and gone. Okay, we could boot up MK3 and I could show you, but it would take a while.
I would call this sentence shorthand for all of that, because it does wind up with Shao Kahn back in Outworld, alive, but extremely and severely weakened.
I just don't like that we're skimming over the fact that people actually thought Kahn was dead at the end of 3, and it was a reveal that he survived at Deadly Alliance.
Yeah, that's the thing. Did seem like Shao Kahn's end for many years until Deadly Alliance came out.
I did not see the guy. I did not see the guy get knocked to the ground, wipe the blood from her nose and go, "Fine, you win this time, but we'll meet again, Liu Kang," and then, like, run away. That's, you know, that 80s Saturday morning cartoon, Decepticons Retreat. That's not how MK3 ended. The motherfucker exploded.
And we have all thought for the longest time that giant coffin in the tomb in MK4 was maybe Shao Kahn's.
Yeah, well, again, that's in gold. Maybe. Like in the version of 4 that's in this, there's just a generic mummy on that windowsill. In gold, they changed it to a Shao Kahn-shaped coffin.
4 gold. Whatever.
Yeah. So, MK4. While training with Kai, another former member of the White Lotus Society, Liu Kang sees a meteor land nearby. They investigate only to find a prone Fujin surrounded by demons. Joined by Raiden, Johnny Cage, Sonya, and Sub-Zero, they've omitted Jax. He was there in the comic, but not in the... They defeat the demons.
Johnny shouldn't be here, Jax should.
Well, Johnny could have been there if you just rewrite it that Raiden brought him along when he resurrected him.
Sure.
Yeah. So again, we're half of what happened in the comic is being acknowledged here, and half of it can't be.
The beauty of Mortal Kombat 4 is there's so much wiggle room.
Yeah.
There's so much free space, and yet we have like
the comic
this
has
one thing.
Errors, and they had to write around those errors. It is what it is. So, they defeat the demons and learn of Shinnok's war against the Elder Gods. Liu Kang and his fellow warriors travel to Edenia to free it from Shinnok. With Raiden's assistance, Liu Kang defeats Shinnok and banishes it back to the Netherrealm. So there is a detail omitted here, if you read this bio. And again, this is something the comic gets wrong, and they're trying to square that circle. Liu Kang finds himself venturing into the realm of Edenia to rescue the Princess Kitana from the vile clutches of Quan Chi. Unsuccessful in his mission, Liu returns to Earth and mounts an effort to bring together Earth's greatest warriors. So, what actually happens in the MK4 bios is that Liu is the first one to find out Edenia has been invaded. He goes in alone to try to save Kitana, gets his ass beat, retreats, and then joins the team for the main game version of the story. And that doesn't happen in the comic book, so it's not described here.
Needs work.
Yeah. But hey, at least the bio is in this, so you can read it for yourself and see what they got wrong. Yeah, and then this, but I thought you were gonna lick, and then she cuts him off.
Is that what he says? Is that the word?
He starts to say the word lick. It's not, the subtitles don't have that word, but that's what he's saying.
It is definitely an L word.
Yeah. So, Tana offers him her hand in marriage to rule Edenia by her side. Sad, Liu Kang declines, unable to set aside his duties as Earth Champion. Tana wishes him well and departs. Yeah.
That is how that went. The very end of things.
Yes. That actually is canon.
So this could use some tidying up.
A little. You know what?
Housekeeping. It might honestly be a lot of like concise trimming down.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot that's going on here, and it's probably too much to fit into this one little box.
Well, so the issue is, Liu Kang can't be training Kai and find Fujin and join the team, and be the first one into Edenia, get his ass kicked and retreat at the same time. Those two events are incompatible.
MK4 has problems.
Yeah. Meat cannot be clicked on. He had a bio in Armageddon, but Armageddon's not this collection, so we're not acknowledging it.
It's meat. It's delicious.
So just for the record,
on the select screen.
If Meat were to have a bio, what it should say is that he's an escaped clone of Shang Tsung from the Flesh Pits, who was unfinished, that's why he has no skin, and doesn't know who he is, doesn't have an identity.
I don't know that he's a clone of Shang Tsung specifically, but he definitely
They did see it. It ties into the fact that in Shang's bio, he died. Khan got his soul. Khan went down to the Flesh Pits, put his soul, like, they established that Shang keeps a bunch of spare bodies down there for himself to put his own soul into. So, if it's
he makes a lot of weird stuff down there. It could be for any reason. That's
right,
my only nitpick.
But this weird stuff could copy other people's moves, just like how Shang can morph.
Maybe, but he can also take off his own head and use it as a bowling ball.
Yeah, that's true. Meat can do a lot of weird things.
Meat's special. Meat's delicious.
Melina.
I'm so happy that they put him up here on the select screen.
Yeah, it's nice that you got picture and everything. So, thought to be Kitana's twin sister, Melina is in fact a clone of the princess, created by Shang Tsung using a blend of Kitana's blood and Tarkatan essence. Forced to hide her Tarkatan visage behind a mask, Melina's loyalty to her father is only matched by animalistic rage and her jealousy of Kitana. So that's all true, but I want to point out the fact that the reason she has the teeth is specifically because Tarkatan essence was used. That was not revealed until Deception. So if we're omitting information from games that aren't in the collection...
Put her MK2 bio and ending.
Yeah, see?
Alright, fine.
Yeah.
Her hideous intentions and her face.
Grotesque clone. Tobias really liked using the word grotesque every single time he described Melina.
It's a good word.
So she hangs out with Baraka and their teeth match, but there's no mention of Tarkatans or Baraka species being involved in her creation.
Well, I think that this is another example of what you would call visual storytelling.
Yeah, it's
it
fine.
It might be deception. Deception says it outright, but I looked at this when it first came out.
We all guessed it. Oh wow, yes. We all guessed it.
She's made of Baraka stuff.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna go, Deception, Deadly Alliance isn't in the collection, so we're leaving out the Motaro and Shiva stuff, and then you do this. I don't know, man. I don't know.
But there is a version of Deadly Alliance in the collection.
Yeah, there is. Okay, so the Game Boy versions of Deadly Alliance, I don't think they have conquest mode, so the text about Motaro and Shiva is probably not in those games.
Look at you being all generous.
But still. Melina joins Kitana in attacking Johnny Cage's film shoot, savagely killing one of Jax's soldiers in the process. She takes part in the Outworld tournament and witnesses Kitana speaking to Liu Kang and Raiden. After Shao Kahn's defeat at Liu Kang's hands, Melina confronts Kitana as the princess attempts to escape, but is killed by Kitana and her bladed fans. How do you know it wasn't the kiss of death, Scott?
This comes down to your preference for it to be the kiss of death.
I just want to point out that the games never say how she kills her, and Scott decided it was the fans.
It is true, and as we've talked about in prior shows, I lean towards the head decapitation, so winner, chicken dinner.
Alright. All the same. And again, the games never said when Melina confronts Kitana. The idea that it happened after Shao Kahn's defeat is a little weird to me. So, this says UMK3, but the picture is Trilogy. I wonder if they're mixing and matching because, obviously, Melina's...
it might very much be on purpose.
Yeah, Melina's Ultimate stuff, like, she doesn't have a bio in Ultimate. The hidden characters don't have bios in Ultimate. But they do have endings. But their endings are shitty placeholders. Let's look at the shitty placeholder ending. Winning the third tournament enables Melina...
I think this is my favorite shitty placeholder ending.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
Winning the third tournament enables Melina to reclaim her role as the Outworld Queen. When was
it's
she
not a tournament!
How do you reclaim something that you didn't have before? She's never been the Outworld Queen. She's the princess.
It's not a tournament!
She would have to marry her dad to be the queen.
It's not a tournament!
It's also not a tournament. The third tournament. With the help of Baraka, she then takes both Sindel and her daughter Kitana hostage. Together, they threaten Shao Kahn with their lives unless he lures the Earthborn warriors to a fourth Mortal Kombat where Baraka can regain his title. It's a typo!
As the ultimate Mortal Kombat champion.
This is what the game
Something
came
he
with.
Never had.
This is a published, finished game from 1996 we're reading the ending from right now. That typo was there. That's real.
Actually, did you know that in Jade's ending, it has the word "comabbed"?
I do know that.
It's great. Someone reported it as a bug in the Digital Eclipse Discord.
Yeah, they are reporting
great.
old glitches from the original games as bugs in the new collection. I enjoy that.
Mortal Kombat.
I love people discovering how broken Rain and Noob are in Trilogy.
It's beautiful.
And reporting it as a bug.
It is a bug!
Technically, sure.
Game preservation! I'm afraid to go online with that game.
I'm
terrified.
You can't reclaim your role as the queen if you were never the queen. You can't regain your title as the champion if you were never the champion. And there was not a tournament!
Brilliant.
So that's what that game launched with. This is, again...
Absolutely brilliant.
This is not the final BioWare ending. Obviously, they then replaced that shit with what's in Trilogy.
The good stuff. The stuff that caused my jaw drop to drop when I played Trilogy.
There's some words I want to point out here. One of them is Netherrealm, and one of them is Shinnok. Melina and Noob Saibot's endings in Trilogy were the first time they mentioned what they were setting up for mythologies in MK4.
When you saw these endings, and you saw the credits for Trilogy, and it said MK4 coming in 1997, you knew we were heading to some good places, man. Like, I remember biting my lip and going, oh, I can't wait to see what this is going to be about. Like, you just knew that this was important. Ugh.
I want to say that when Trilogy came out, they were already, like, starting to cover mythologies and 4 in the magazines, like, previews, it was coming. We sort of knew that we were getting a story about, like, the Netherrealm. You know, the place that Scorpion comes from is sort of what we knew was going on.
Yeah, like, I think I remember learning within the space of a month of reading these that, like, there was going to be a Sub-Zero game and we were going to hell.
Yeah.
It was going to be awesome.
Yeah, so I it's probably on purpose that they're both mentioning 3 and Trilogy in this block of text, because she was in Ultimate, but her story comes from Trilogy. After Melina's death...
Please forgive our earlier nitpicks.
Yeah. After Melina's death, she finds herself brought before Shinnok in the Netherrealm. Shinnok knows Shao Kahn intends to resurrect her and demands she spy upon and later assassinate her father, so that both Outworld and Earth may be claimed by the Dark God. Terrified of Shinnok, she does it as he asks upon her resurrection. However, once Liu Kang defeats Shao Kahn and the realms are separated, she flees to Edenia to escape both her father and the fallen Elder God. Now, that last sentence is made up. There is, I guess, a gap where we don't know where Melina was between 3 and 4. But, so the story in 3 is that she's working for Shinnok, and the story in 4 is that when Shinnok invades Edenia, she's working for Shinnok. So I kind of assumed
that she just went back to hell.
Yeah, I kind of assumed she was recalled back to the Netherrealm to wait for the next assignment. So, the idea that she was, like, hiding in Edenia between games, and then, like, the MK4, like, Shinnok's forces had to, like, find her and force her to join back up, that's a bit too much action for filling in a blank for me. It assumes too many things.
It creates an interesting image of her struggling for her own independence against dark forces that are controlling her, again. But, yeah, it assumes too much.
I think we could have avoided a need for that sentence if her being an MK Gold was part of these bios.
Yep.
Anyway. Nightwolf.
Nightwolf.
They've put him in the graveyard. They've put him in the graveyard. That's a fair choice. MK3 stage. You know what's interesting is that the graveyard is the only rural stage in MK3. So I've always kind of assumed maybe it is part of the reservation, that it is actually a Nightwolf-related stage.
Possibility.
Obviously,
Whenever I think of MK3, I really think of, like, the first thing that comes to mind is, like, The Stand, the novel for Stephen King, in terms of, like, settings. Like, this vision of a desolate, mostly abandoned America. So I never really tied the graveyard into Nightwolf's reservation or sacred place. I kind of fear that based on how isolated it looks, it was the first place that they saw when they had Johnny's body, where they laid him to rest on the way. I don't know.
It's sort of, again, where was Johnny when he died? Where are the stages in location to each other? Because most of them are the city. The central place where most of MK3 takes place is New York City, which they use some Chicago imagery for, but it is confirmed to be New York and Stryker's Armageddon stuff. And I believe in MK9 they show the Statue of Liberty. All the same. Nightwolf is the shaman and guardian of his Native American tribe. Upon Shao Kahn's invasion of Earth, Nightwolf protects his tribal lands and soon becomes one of Earth's chosen warriors. Bare bones, but correct. Shao Kahn begins collecting Earth's souls. Nightwolf protects his territory with his shamanistic magic. Raiden directs the other protected Earth warriors to Nightwolf's tribal lands as a rendezvous point. Once assembled, Earth's champions plan their attack on Shao Kahn. After Shao Kahn's defeat, Nightwolf returns to his tribal lands. No mention of that Soul NATO.
No mention of Soul NATO.
Yeah,
None whatsoever.
I mean, all this is true.
Yep.
I noticed that they didn't bother trying to include any backstory, like what Nightwolf does before the invasion, like what tribe he comes from or what his job is in that tribe, because that changes every single game. Again,
for the best.
Yeah. But obviously,
put a note in there about him being a historian.
Yeah, obviously, if you read this, works as a historian and preserver of his people's culture.
Man's got a 9 to 5, folks.
Yeah, the Nightwolf is a professional history guy. He works at like a museum or something, or he's like, when they make documentaries about Native Americans, he's one of the talking heads they'll have in the documentary.
He's sitting at a desk. He got the spectacles on.
I've always wanted to see Nightwolf in plain clothes as an alternate costume just once. Put just a suit and tie, no face paint. Show me what he looks like in his historian day job when he's not doing shaman magic, instead of always giving us alt costumes where he's wearing an animal head as a hat.
I bet you he's got like this professory jacket with tweed elbows.
Yes, I've always imagined the elbow patches.
Alright, so that aside,
yeah,
it's legit.
Yeah, everything's fine there. It's really, really empty. There's not a lot going on with Nightwolf if you just stick to the facts.
So,
Go
back a second.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You were wondering no, not to Nightwolf, just the select screen.
Just the select screen? Okay.
Yeah, we were mentioning last time how weird it was that they didn't use X image of Goro or this or that.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've determined is, they really go out of their way to select images from the character's very first appearance in a game, whether or not they had an icon or not.
That's true.
Just thought I'd get that out there. Also, I really love the parody of using Noob Saibot using Scorpion's image to make a Noob Saibot image. It seems fitting somehow.
Yeah. Alright, so it takes us to the Sub-Zero section, because of course it does.
You know what? I'm not gonna complain, because this is what they should be doing.
Yes, no, this is correct. I just think it's funny to, that wasn't revealed until Deception, but we're not including the Shiva Motaro stuff. Okay. A loyal member of the Lin Kuei with the power to control ice and cold, Sub-Zero took actions that led to the massacre of the Shiraiyu ninja clan, including Scorpion. He fought in the Mortal Kombat tournament only to be killed by Scorpion in revenge. He would later be resurrected as the Wraith Noob Saibot to serve the Netherrealm. I noticed they've put him on the pit. That's an MK1 stage. Seems fine. In mythologies...
Whenever I think of MK1, I think of the pit, I think of Scorpion fighting Sub-Zero. It's just an image I have, so I like this a lot, actually.
Fair enough. This is how Bihan dies in Scorpion's Revenge. Scorpion tackles him into the pit, and they both fall on a spike.
Sub-Zero is...
I want to point out, even though they are including the fact that Noob is the first Sub-Zero. If you look here, they have Sub-Zero 2. That's Kuai Liang. They don't ever use the names Bihan and Kuai Liang in the collection because those weren't revealed until MK9. So we can use stuff from Deception, but we can't use stuff from 9 except when we can. I don't know. I guess it's
not consistent.
But
you know what? There's actually a part of me that is appreciative of the fact that we're not using Kuai Liang or Bihan.
Yeah, the thing is, if I was doing it...
it's still more authentic.
Yes, if I was trying to be, purely historically accurate, I would not use their names, because those names weren't revealed in the games that are in the collection. I'm just saying, if I was going to be purely historically accurate, I also might not mention Onaga in Shao Kahn's bio, or, I might get all that stuff with Motaro and Shiva right, or not mention them. Like, I wouldn't mention Motaro fighting Liu Kang at all. I would just leave nothing. I would not mention Shiva supposedly rescuing Kano at all. I would just leave it blank.
Once again, it's about consistency. That would be nice.
Yes, it is. They have chosen to go one direction when reporting some facts and another direction when reporting other facts. So it's not consistent.
Again, Scott, not a criticism of his work.
No.
This is a monumental task, and I imagine there was a lot of back and forth.
Obviously, yes. All this had to be approved by somebody at NetherRealm. We know who that somebody is. And, I'm just going to, by default, assume whenever something is in here that I don't like or agree with, that it's not Scott's fault. Scott did his best. That's what I'm going to choose to believe.
Sub-Zero is hired to steal the map of elements from the Wuxi Academy. Is it the Shaolin Temple? Is it the Wuxi Academy? Is it both?
Yeah, the game said Shaolin Temple.
Rivals.
The game said Shaolin Temple.
The game said Shaolin Temple. Again, facts. Murdering his rival Scorpion in the process. He is then tasked with retrieving Shinnok's amulet from the Temple of Elements. After handing the amulet over to Quan Chi, he is confronted by Raiden, who explains that the amulet is the key to Shinnok's return and the death of all life in the realms. Sub-Zero then journeys to the Netherrealm, defeats Quan Chi, and steals the amulet back from Shinnok.
Yep, that's all correct. Yep. Yeah, that's what happens.
Interesting. That's it.
Yeah.
Interesting that they say death of all life in the realms. It kind of like...
I mean, that is Shinnok's ultimate goal.
It is. It's something that's specified more hardcore in MK10, if anything, where he's firmly established as like being this all-obliterating nihilist of a character.
But I mean,
I'm not objecting to the phrasing. I'm just noticing it. I like it.
If you really look at 4, I mean, Quan Chi is the one who, like in Baraka's Gold ending, strips all the realms of life, but that's obviously what Shinnok wanted to do too,
Shinnok is dead. Everyone is dead.
How you rule a realm with no one in it?
Dead. Oh, the ending is so good, and they're so proud of it, and they should be.
I wish it was in here. Anyway, in the Mortal Kombat tournament, hired by Shang Tsung to compete, in the Mortal Kombat tournament, Sub-Zero also takes a separate commission to assassinate the sorcerer.
They did not forget that.
Yeah. During the journey to the tournament, he is confronted by Scorpion, the man he previously murdered. Conflict between the two ends at the tournament, where Scorpion defeats and kills him. Yeah, so this is kudos to Scott for remembering that it's possible to both be invited to a tournament and hired to kill someone at that tournament. Because the fan base has a weird problem with this, where they think the ending of Mythologies retconned his bio in 1. And even MK9 changes why Sub-Zero is at the tournament. They have him working for Shang instead of being hired to kill him.
How would those two things contradict?
I need people to understand. Sub-Zero was always invited to the tournament by Shang. MK1 specifically says, the game that came out in 1992, ignore all the sequels, ignore all ancillary text. What's just presented in MK1 already says, you can only go to the tournament if Shang Tsung invites you. That's why Sonya was arrested when she got to the island. Because she wasn't invited. So it always had to be that Bi-Han was invited by Shang, then he took the job to kill Shang. So yes, this is...
these things...
Thank you, Scott, for getting this wrong. Or getting this right. Because so many people do get it wrong.
Freudian!
No, yes. This one Scott got right. We're complimenting it. This is...
You're so used to saying, got it wrong.
Yeah,
it just comes out right away.
It's really hard to compliment people when they do things right because it happens so rarely in this fucking franchise.
Thank you, Scott. We love you.
But yes, this is a thumbs up. This is the right way to do things.
Well done.
Excellent.
Superb.
Outstanding.
Crispy.
Okay.
On his death, Sub-Zero's soul descended to the Netherrealm. Not wanting to waste such a skilled warrior, but wary of raising the ire of Scorpion, Quan Chi decided to give the former Lin Kuei a new identity. The newly named Noob Saibot's first task was to observe the Outworld tournament from a distance. So this... Now let's, set aside obviously the fact that that the revelation itself is a deception thing. We all know that. We've covered this.
Yeah, no, this... it's still in the proper place on the timeline. Just like the stuff revealed in Deadly Alliance that happened to Shiva, Motaro, and Kano should be on the timeline.
Huh? Now, the first thing that's interesting here is not wanting to waste such a skilled warrior, but wary of raising the ire of Scorpion.
Yes, the reason that Bi-Han has been changed into a shadow guy named Noob Saibot. The idea that hiding his identity was specifically to hide it from Scorpion? That's Scott's invention. That's not given in the games. I don't disagree with it. It makes perfect sense. I'm just saying it's never been said before.
It's just a brand new factoid, and I don't disagree with it. I like it.
I kind of...
It's interesting to consider. It's weird because it's a new fact, and there's a lot of logic behind it.
I would suggest that there's more than one person you're hiding the identity from. You're trying to, obviously, you don't want to piss off Scorpion because you have him working for you and stuff, but, it's also just to surprise other people. Like, what if you ever want to go after Kuai Liang? Or, there's lots of people who knew Bi-Han who don't know Noob Saibot. So there's maybe more than one person is a good reason to have a secret identity. I don't know. It's fine, though. It's fine.
Cool.
I just think it's interesting to that he felt the need to explain why the name changed. Because, honestly... Okay, so... it's been a thing for like 20 years in this fan base, people debating, is Noob Saibot a good name or not, because calling someone a noob on the internet is an insult. It's just fucking tiresome. I don't care for any of that argument. I like the name Noob Saibot. And it bothers me when Noob is in a modern game and everyone calls him Bihan and they never use the name Noob Saibot in the story mode dialogue at all.
I've been saying it for years that they should just specify that in the Netherrealm tongue, Noob Saibot means something. It's a title or something.
Yes, I also subscribe to the idea that Noob Saibot must be Netherrealm language for something. That maybe it means, Dark Shadow or Grim Reaper. It's some kind of, it's like a... Ninjas, all the ninjas have code... Well, not all of them. Ermac is a real name, and Rain is a real name, but Scorpion is a code name that Hanzo Hazashi uses to hide his identity, because ninjas are criminals, and you don't want the authorities to know who you are when you're murdering people for money. Bihan and Kuai Liang use the name Sub-Zero as a code name because they're hired assassins. These guys have reasons for code names and secret identities. So there is a logical reason to call your special agent who kills people for you a superhero name, if you want to call it that. A code name, a pseudonym. And I always assumed that Noob Saibot was just... It's appropriate for Bihan to pick a new name because he's not Sub-Zero anymore. His body has been changed so that he no longer even has ice powers. He's a new person. And when you become a different person, it is thematic and symbolic to choose a new name. That's your name from now on. He's not Bihan anymore. Bihan died. I'm a different guy now.
That name no longer has any meaning for me.
Yeah, Anakin Skywalker is dead. Darth Vader is what he calls himself now. Don't call him Anakin. He's not Anakin anymore.
So, first task, observe the Outworld tournament from a distance. Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
Spy games. That's what he's up to throughout all of MK2. Just spy games, lurking, watching from the shadows.
Just watching.
He likes to watch.
Once Outworld begins...
began its invasion of Earth, Noob Saibot was sent to observe. After a time, he received instructions to offer his aid to Shao Kahn in eliminating Raiden's chosen warriors. Upon Liu Kang's defeat of Shao Kahn, Noob Saibot retreated back to the Netherrealm.
Basically true. Actually, I've always kind of wondered, so Noob is working for Kahn again in Deadly Alliance.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
But he is in MK4. Obviously not the arcade version of 4, that's why he doesn't have a 4 bio here. But he's in the home versions, and he's in Gold, so, like... He was working for Kahn, then he was working for Shinnok, then he went back to working for Kahn. I've always wondered what happened there.
I've actually always considered him to be kind of a go-between, unofficially, between Shinnok and Shao Kahn and Quan Chi.
Yeah, he's almost like kind of the Netherrealm ambassador in Outworld. Like,
I don't know, like a liaison. Is the term I would word. Yeah, definitely. Like, so I think that like he's kept on retainer by both parties. Obviously, he wants nothing to do with either one of them, clearly.
The other interesting thing is, like, if you really wanted to square this circle, so Noob, despite being in MK4 home versions and Gold, doesn't have a bio or ending. So we don't know what he's doing in 4, which, by the way, is super frustrating to me, because Noob is, he's the first guy that we find out about the Brotherhood of the Shadow from. He is the first guy...
It's annoying, isn't it?
Yeah, he's
in the one game where he can't be sitting back watching from the shadows.
Yeah.
Because the guy he's reporting to is like leading the invasion. He's logically got to be out there.
Noob Saibot
on the front lines.
Noob Saibot was used to set up the plot of MK4 during Trilogy. And then when we get to 4, Noob's not a major character in it. That has always bugged the shit out of me. So, if I was going to try to, make sense of that, I would suggest that what was Noob doing during 4? What was he actually doing? Maybe, he was in Outworld during Shinnok's invasion of Edenia and the Heavens. Maybe he was preparing for when Shinnok is ready to, make his move on Outworld next. And, therefore, that's why he's still there working for Khan and Deadly Alliance in the next game. Because those
it's very
plans,
tempting.
Shinnok got defeated, those plans never moved forward.
It's very tempting thematically to have him Kuai Liang catch a glimpse of each other. Like, Deception is very forthright about saying that, like, Noob has not seen Kuai Liang since before he died.
Yeah.
But you know how in Shaolin Monks, Kuai Liang is like, I think that is my brother.
Yeah, like, they bump into each other immediately.
I wouldn't really mind, like, having that one moment of, on Kuai Liang's part of, like, is that... It looks like... No. But it's a thing that bothers him for years, you know?
Just to catch a glimpse of the guy and never actually, like, speak to or interact, yeah.
Start planting the doubt. Start wondering.
So...
Anyway, enough of the headcanon.
Yeah, so, Trilogy. Once Outworld begins its invasion of Earth, Noob Saibot was sent to observe. After a time, he received instructions to offer his aid to Shao Kahn in eliminating Radiant's chosen warriors. Upon Liu Kang's defeat of Shao Kahn, Noob Saibot retreated back to Nether. Yeah, so...
Right. It's legit.
I mean, he was also like, hey, if it looks like Khan's gonna win, don't let him. Obviously, that was never necessary, but it's just nice to know those were Noob's real orders.
Yep. Do you want to talk about the thing that's below the Noob Saibot bio? I mean, Noob Saibot trilogy ending.
Oh, yes, they included classic Sub-Zero.
Just for reference, it goes here.
Yeah.
It goes here. We don't have to talk about it. It's just nice that they put it there. Thank you.
Know that these two pictures are not canon. They weren't canon when the game came out. They've never been canon. It's not that they were canon once upon a time, but like the Noob is Bihan retcon made them uncanon. No, they were never canon. When this game came out, all of us already knew Classic Sub was a non-canon character. Okay.
Well, I don't know about when I don't know about when Ultimate came out, but I do remember wondering about this if they were ever going to resolve it.
Well, yeah, there was some confusion up until the time when MK4 came out of like, is Bihan back? Which Sub-Zero is going to be in the next game? Is it Bihan or Kuai Liang? Obviously, we didn't call them back then. We didn't know those names yet. But is it going to be the older brother or the younger brother? Which Sub-Zero is it going to be? And then he had the scar, and we're like, okay, I guess the first one really is dead. Classic Sub is not canon.
At the time, we were like, is it someone different under that mask? Because it's very...
Yeah,
John Tobias on Twitter acknowledged it acknowledged the wording was confusing and poor. It is supposed to be the Sub-Zero from MK1, but what these words are trying to say is that the Sub-Zero from MK1 also had a publicly known identity that shocked everyone, and they just never went anywhere with it.
The weird thing here is if you really look at the way this is worded, having been killed in the first tournament, Sub-Zero seems to have emerged to win the third tournament, which it wasn't
not a tournament.
Not a tournament. However, upon removing his mask, both the Outworld and Earthborn warriors are shocked to discover the true identity of this warrior. Why would they be shocked to discover his true identity if they already think he's Bihan and his identity is Bihan?
No, I think that what it's actually trying to say is that, like, Bihan actually had a publicly known, famous identity. Like, he was someone that existed independently of the Sub-Zero identity, but which be two different people at the same time.
I don't know, because a warrior who has long been missing from a previous Mortal Kombat and one who will return in the fourth tournament. So his identity is somebody who died, who, was in a previous tournament. Here's the only way you can read this that it makes sense is if he's the Great Kung Lao.
That was one of the things that was commonly speculated.
Like, when I was a kid, I was like, are you trying to say he's Johnny Cage? What do you mean he's from a previous tournament, but his identity is a shock? Like, he looks like the first Sub-Zero, and then he removes his mask, and what Tobias intended was that he's the first Sub-Zero. How is that shocking?
It never went anywhere.
It's poorly worded.
For the ages.
And Tobias on Twitter has explicitly acknowledged, yes, it was poorly worded.
Very confusing.
I meant that he's Bi-Han.
Whatever the case,
God, it sounds like he's fucking... It sounds like he's somebody other than Bi-Han. And who do we know who's been missing from a previous tournament at the time that this came out? Well, it's... Johnny Cage is in Trilogy, but he's not in UMK3. Is it Johnny Cage and the Trilogy comes out? I guess it's not Johnny Cage. Is it the Great Kung Lao? Who the fuck is... It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
You also have to consider that these endings, this one in particular as well as Melina's, seem to describe these events as tournaments.
Yes, they do.
So when they say a previous Mortal Kombat, do they actually mean a tournament? They might not. They might mean a conflict. A minor conflict. I don't know. Needless to say, it was supposed to be Bi-Han. That's why it's here.
Yeah.
Since Bi-Han is Noob Saibot at this point in time, it's non-canon.
But yes, this is not canon. This is canon.
Yes, that's all.
He's Noob Saibot. We know that now. It's all been settled.
I shouldn't have brought it up.
No, we had to revisit because it's in here, and it's.
You've been at this a while, huh?
Yeah. It's it just hit 3 hours. I think the full thing's gonna be 6. So we're gonna split this into 2 episodes. Is what we're gonna do. We're gonna cut it off here, and you know what? We're gonna release 2 episodes in 1 week, which The Lost will never ever do again because we are slow as fuck.
Hey man, I got plans for Cyrax and Sector. You'll see.
Okay.
You'll see.
Okay. Doesn't that depend on how fast we record, though?
It does, but we have been known to record 2 episodes and then not put them out for a while.
That's fair. I guess we'll have to see how that. Yeah, that'll we'll cross that pit when we come to it.
Pit lost.
But
all
yeah.
Right.
In the meantime, see you later, nerds.
Be sure to tune in right now. Can't believe I'm getting to say that, but yeah. Hop over the next video if you're not too tired. Yeah. 6 hours of us goodness.
Well, I think we'll put a couple.
Nice day.
We'll put a couple days between, but yeah. 2 episodes in 1 week.
Okay. Spoil sport. All right. Do it again.
See you later, nerds.
Have a nice day.